I think we are live. Oops. Okay. Had a heck of an echo going on there. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Can you hear me? You're in. We're
Can you hear me
on.
there? Yeah.
Yes, I got you.
Yep. All right.
Let me see here.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Okay, I got to push a couple of buttons. Okay. I think we're live. I'm pretty sure we're live. Shadow and Sun, you can come in anytime, man. We are ready. We're going. And I didn't get your message 40 minutes ago. I just got it, and I sent you practically now. So, can you hear me okay, Frank?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, you sound pretty good too. So, good deal. All right, let me just shut that. Stop that. Hey, Bo Paints. Welcome back to the Quantum Show. If you're here, you're quantum. And did you listen to any of the first hour, Frank?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I got your message, so you must have something to talk about. So go ahead.
Well, actually, when we were talking about the information philosophy of Egypt.
Hey, your audio just went way down. Did something change on your end?
Yeah, it sure did. Give me a second. Because
Okay.
I was about to. Hang on just a second. And now you'll understand why.
Whoa. Do you hear that?
Yeah, that was my webcam.
Okay, do you hear? You have a ticking sound.
Maybe it's the bomb or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's on top of everything you say. I can't, it's interrupting what you're saying. Do you not hear it?
No, I don't.
Well, here, listen. Can you hear that?
No. Let's see.
Hope you can hear that. All right, it stopped. Whatever you did, it stopped. Can you speak? You got sound?
Okay, how about that? Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I bought a new webcam, and so that people could see this terrifically awful face. And it has a built-in microphone, which I absolutely detest. So that's why it makes all that noise, because until I turn off the microphone.
Okay, yeah. I've had some technical difficulties myself. My sound system decided to die on me, and I said, what am I going to do? And this is weird. Well, is it though, right? But this happened, and I start looking, where can I get something? Where can I get something? Looking online, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some prospects, but it came into my head, go to the thrift store.
Yep.
Go to the thrift store, right? Yeah. I mean, it was the idea, not a voice this time. This was like, go to the thrift store. And I could just see myself going to the thrift store. So I got there, I look, keep in mind, I was just there yesterday, okay? And there was nothing for me there yesterday. But I get there today, there's a component stereo system for $20.
There you go.
I'm like, well, what the hell? This is quantum. This is me. Okay, now it's like the universe says, oh crap, Nathan needs a radio. Let's make it happen. The universe says, you make this, you get in your spots, you make this happen. And they all kind of towed the line a little bit, because it works for a sound system for the computer, but it doesn't work for what I need it to do. It has no headphone jack. And I'm like, oh, man. It has a USB thing. If I had a USB headset, but I don't have one, I'm not planning on getting one. And I did find something online, so I'm probably going to get it. It's this little amp thing on Amazon. It has no speakers. It has all the hookups that I need, though, and that's fine. It has no players. It has a tuner. It has the I/O that I need, and it has something I really love: a hardware power switch. I really love that. Not no digital programmable button. I don't like that. So it's very studio-ish looking, and it fits in the same hole. So that's a big thing. So that's good. But that was my hardware issue. And as you can see, I'm on headphones to the phone. So the thing is not even turned on right now because it just creates that echo, and don't need it right now. That's fine. It works as a speaker pusher, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
that's what you need it for.
yeah, it although I want to wrap all of it into one thing. That's what I needed it for just the computer. I need this. I need this. And it doesn't work for that. So I'm going to get something else, but the something else is cheap, and it's pretty. It's shiny. So it does have some capability, just not very blog talker friendly. So that's fine. Anyway, sorry. Getting back to the actual show and not complaining about thrift shop technology.
Yeah, tech issues. Yeah.
But you caught the first hour and you came to me and says, "Hey, I want to come on. Let me come on." I'm like, "Okay, cool." You said, "Give me the link." I'm like, boom, link. So what's up? You got something.
Well, now when we were talking about the lost history that we were mentioning earlier, and the line of Sumerian kings that went back some 30,000 years, and we don't have any actual quote unquote physical evidence of it. Yeah, well, when you go back 30,000 so years, there weren't a lot of documents, and that's what everybody says. In order to prove something happened, you have to have evidence. But if it's happened 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 years ago, there's no evidence unless you have fossilized remains.
Right.
And we wouldn't recognize them if we saw them if they weren't a known species. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, the evidence may not be something that, like you said, we wouldn't understand it if we saw it.
Exactly.
Okay. And to add to that, in ufology, they wouldn't know evidence if they saw it, because
exactly
it's an idea through all of science fiction, right? In science fiction, we made it, so it's based on something real. Dilithium crystals were mistaken for quartz for hundreds of years. And then somebody accidentally hit it with some antimatter and it did some weird shit in the Star Wars universe, right?
Star Trek.
Sorry, Star Trek. My bad. I woke up a little early today. Okay, we've got people coming in the chat. Joe is here. Again, Joe, if you know how to do it. He says it can be done with a 5 milliwatt laser pointer. Link, please. I put links in after the show. You can put links in during the show. So go for it. And okay.
I'm going to adjust something here. Let's adjust this down. There we go. That's
Shadow, I sent you a link, or no, I thought you had a link. I didn't see that. Okay, let me send you a link real quick. Let me get this going on. And okay, I don't. Well, that's fine. I thought you had a link. I mean, your shows are populating my page. It takes a second. Sorry, y'all. I don't have any unlicensed music, and I can do. I love toast, but I need to get a toaster for that to play background music. Y'all know that I Love Toast song is played on a toaster with 2 forks. It's awesome.
Well, just as long as you don't stick them inside.
Nope, it doesn't even need to be plugged in. One of them old school silver metal toasters.
Oh yeah.
The more forks, the better. Like a spoon player, except with forks. Okay. And okay, link is sent on Facebook Messenger. Shadow. It is there. Oh, let's see. Let's get back to managing the show. It is on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, private chat here is useless. My coffee is in there waiting for me. It'll be all right. It'll wait a little longer. I've waited this long. It'll wait a little longer. And okay, Shadow is on his way. Okay.
There you go.
I got you coming in, and you are here. Yeah, see, I knew you could get in without a key. Or without my key.
I didn't think about it. Yeah, I might have been able to, but it's just easier this way. Nice to meet you, Frank.
Hey, Shadow, good to meet you.
Frank was on here before. You just didn't see him.
Oh, okay.
He was on here before, yeah. Reacquaintance going on.
Yeah, on the on the YouTube, I have I'm Storming Shadow 2012.
He was on.
So I'm sending you a packet.
Yeah, I still have to give you my address.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work that out. Don't worry. I haven't gotten the free book yet, so I haven't shipped anybody anything.
Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
Same.
I'm glad you found the show from the other shows. That's great. Always good to have another gamer here, even though this is, all about other stuff.
Yeah. Now, that's something I'm going to want to talk to you about at some point, is what's going on with Wizards of the Coast and all that.
Sure, anytime, man.
Your opinion on it, but not here, not tonight.
No. As a matter of fact, howdy, James. This is from this moment on. Game week is over, man. I had a long week, did a bunch of shows, talked my freaking, what's off about all the weird game crap that's going on, and had a nice long almost 9-hour game today, and I just want to talk about weird crap.
Well, this is probably the best place for it.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think so.
So you guys all had a good week?
So far, so good.
Yeah,
everybody in
so
the
far,
chat,
so good.
same thing. I know James had a good week. He lives in a beautiful area, so it can't be anything but nice over there. And my son may drop in to say hi, but you were having technical difficulties earlier, so he popped in, said hi, but he might come back in.
Yeah, I saw him earlier at the first hour. Okay. Yeah, my week was pretty good. I managed not to blow up. Managed not to do anything bad. And I did have one odd, I think it was a reality jumping thing.
Do tell.
I go to this store. It's kind of close to here. It's a Family Dollar, right? And normally you drive up, you turn left into the parking lot, and you park. Simple, easy. I don't remember this being the way this coming up. Now you drive up, and right in front of it is where the street splits, and there's an island in the middle, like where they put trees and signs and stuff. And I don't remember that being there. I remember going straight, turn left into the parking lot. Now you have to go up go to the back or go around this thing and to get to the front entrance. I don't remember that being there. It's been there for years apparently, because it is not a new constructed thing. It's been there a long time to look at it. It's got the broken edges, and I think it's a reality jump. Another one. Of course, it could be my bad memory.
Well, there's something else too. If it is a new structure and people are unaccustomed to it being there, that could result in several smashes and crunches and
Well, yeah,
because it's like it wasn't there before and now it's there and people just are driving on automatic pilot.
right.
So they
Well,
don't see it.
this doesn't have the wear and tear of that look. It has the wear and tear of time.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those. See, it's not even really weird anymore. I just am like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. So that happened. I'm back in this universe. Or I'm back in that universe.
Strange. It can get strange.
It has been so strange since all this stuff started happening. And I'm like, okay, it's normal now. It's regular. All this stuff is just regular now. Just take note, realize it's going on, and be ready for the next one.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a toe in the door before, and now I'm like halfway in. I got one whole half of me in there. And you know what? That brings me to Dave Scott, who's here.
My
hey. Boy. Okay. All right. James is ready to come in. Let's get you in here, James. Let me get you a link real quick. This link is for James. And at least I can still manage the show from the computer, even if I can't hear it.
And okay, for those James. Of you who don't know, Lava Lord, that's my son. What's up, Court?
All right, James. You are ready. You're clear to come in. I want to know what you've been up to,
Jack,
James.
If you want to come and hang out with me upstairs, there's room right here.
But Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, a couple of ago, he started having all these experiences, and people were calling him out. Well, I have been having a big influx of experiences too, so now I'm not so sure his was made up, because all of a sudden it seems like, okay, James is here.
Hello, gentlemen.
Welcome aboard. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Let me just. Yeah. But yeah.
I like
after everything.
Occasional appearance on these things. I can't always think of things to talk about. You know.
Well, regular life, you just got to look at it a different way, and it becomes quantum life.
In case you can't tell, it's really hot here.
Yeah, you're a little shiny.
Yeah, it's lovely though. I'm doing a bit of work in the garage as well. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm organizing my miniatures.
Okay, don't mind at all. Okay, YJ Overlander says, I'm posting it. Everything is so bizarre, I really can't rule out simulation theory anymore. I've noticed so many things that shouldn't be, whether it's timelines or perception shifts, I don't know. Things keep changing. Correct.
Is simulation theory like heaven for billionaires?
Say that again. I didn't understand what you mean.
No, I think that's simulation theory.
Right. Right. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, James the Troll. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Just messing with my show, messing with my dialogue. I'm just kidding.
I'm an imp.
But talking about the simulation theory that we're in a matrix, you know what? We are, because physics has shown us that matter is energy and energy, etc. It's all all that stuff, right? Well, so is everything else in here with us. And it's one of those moments where we're not locked in with them, they're locked in with us. We're the
You quote
dangerous
my favorite
lions.
movie again, man.
Yeah. Yeah. They're locked in with us. I've never been locked in a room with a lion. I don't want to be. And they are. And I think that's why we're locked in a box. I said it in the first hour. I said, we're in a set of frequencies. We can exist in such and such gravity, specific temperature, specific atmosphere. We're in a box. And things that are outside of there are outside of the box. Same simulation. And they're in here with us, and they don't want us getting out because we're the lion. We're the lions.
It could be my ignorance as a layperson. Like, definitely more humanities than sciences, right? But like, I feel like the Van Allen belt is one of those things that like comes up as a convenience. Like, sometimes it's an issue for space travel, and then other times it doesn't seem to be. You know, like, what is that about? Is that just a question of like you can send non-shielded probes past it, but you can't send people without the appropriate reinforcement, or is it just keeping us locked in terms of deeper space travel?
I could address that for you.
Go, Frank.
The magnetic field around the planet, of course, it fluctuates depending on where you are, and the Van Allen belt is part of that. Now, in certain parts of the world, the Van Allen belt is thicker, and somewhere it's thinner. Like here in southern New Mexico, where I live, the Van Allen belt, the radiation sphere, is thinner. This is why we have White Sands Missile Range and all those things here in southern New Mexico, because they can get out. Plus, that's why the aliens landed in Roswell, because they could get through easier. So,
that's near. Are you near the zone of silence as well?
I'm sorry?
Are you near the zone of silence as well?
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, okay. It's just an area of strange phenomenon.
This entire area is full of strange phenomenon. Unfortunately, many of them are, humans. Strangest phenomenon of all. Mind the gap.
No doubt.
Pardon me. Yeah, with the radiation belt the way it is, I mean, that's also why the VLA is here, the Very Large Array. That's up by Rio Doso and Cloudcroft. And it's previously was the largest radio telescope array in the world. It's not anymore, but
you're muted, Frank. You're muted. We can't hear you, Frank. You're still muted. We can see the there you go. Whoop, nope. Still muted. Whatever you did, do it again.
There you go. Right. Well, tell you what I'm going to do. Actually, I need to step away for a moment. I shall return.
Alrighty. We'll be here.
Okay. I might have hit the wrong button on that. Sorry about that, Frank. I was trying to mute myself, and the window switched. What's up?
Who's Mad Scientist?
I don't see who that is. I don't know who that is. Mad Scientist, you're going to have to put something in the chat so I know who you are. Hey, Dorothy. Dorothy is back. Dorothy is back visiting the Quantum Show. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, Mad Scientist, you're going to have to put something in the chat so I know who you are. I don't know who you are. And I see devices not connected. And he's gone. Okay, well, that was that. Yeah, there was some Bo Paints. There was someone trying to get into the room, and he had devices not connected, so I told him, let me know who you are. I might let him in.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, Zona de Silencio, Frank is near it. It's a couple hours away from him. What it is according to someone I know that lived near there, uh, hundreds, long time ago, right? A meteor crashed there, and it was very iron rich, and it they call it the zone of silence because it messes with the radio signals and all the signals in the area, and it is better to just not use radios and not use all that stuff because it's a mountain, right? It's the size of a mountain. It was a meteor, a big one that hit, more like landed here. And yeah, that. That's what the zone of silence is. And it also messed with the water. You have to get used to the water there. It will give you the runs for a few days, but your body gets used to it. And it's very just iron rich and mineral rich. It's like when an asteroid hits, it mixes up all the minerals and it all gets in the water for a long, apparently hundreds of years, because it was hundreds of years ago, and I don't even know when that thing hit. And that's why they call it Zone of Silence, Zona de Silencio.
Isn't that the same place where people are suffering from like a ringing that they can't make go away, like a ringing in their ears? Okay.
Yes.
I want to make sure I wasn't thinking of two different places.
Yeah, that's the same place, along with Yuma, Arizona. They are always hearing the some kind of machine running. Nobody knows what it is all the time.
Right.
And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff we just have no clue about. And I think some of it is not in our frequency and it's leaking through like radio signals. And okay, I wanted to go back to what I believe it was YJ. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to post that comment up here. We do have a very small wedge of the available spectrum to experience reality from. There's so much more that we're not engineered to see. I believe we are a GMO species with built-in hindrances, aka filters. We are not meant to be there. And yes, I agree. And
yeah, absolutely.
And it seems like our leadership has realized this and come up with all kinds of science to enforce it to what they need, what they want from us.
Yeah, you guys ever hear about how? God, I want to say this without sounding stupid. But once upon a time, when music was recorded, it was recorded a certain way, and then they changed the way it was recorded to make it more.
The tuning, like middle C or like A. If you just pick like A as like a root note, it's tuned to like 440 hertz.
Right.
But there is another frequency that escapes me. I'm sure someone in the chat will know.
It's in the 300. I'm pretty sure it's in the 300.
Where it kind of it's a bit like
it's like nicer to us. It's like nicer to us, right?
Well, it just it's a little bit closer to the range of like human hearing in terms of actually picking up like the harmonics, and you can tune like an oscillator in a synthesizer to that, or you could tune a guitar or a piano to that. And
right, but music used to be recorded. Music used to be recorded one way, which was like more conducive for our well-being, and then the industry changed it.
Yeah, they switched to that A
to make it like harsher
tuning. Yeah, they switched the tuning, and I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, we can only speculate. But yeah, my understanding is that other tuning is regarded as more musical, more harmonic, for want of a better term.
and they changed it on us, and it's actually kind of like more negative. It has a negative effect on us. Joe, you know what we're talking about?
I used to play the trombone. And yes, there was the pentatonic scale, which was 5 notes. Is that what you're talking about?
No, how they used to record music. Once upon a time, music was recorded. Back in the beginning of recorded music.
Black cylinders.
No, not that way, but the way like it was mass produced. It was a little further down the line than the wax cylinders, but it was recorded at a certain frequency, and then they changed it, and the previous frequency was more conducive for our well-being, and then they changed it, and it's actually has sort of a negative effect on us now.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of that, Shadow.
Okay, Bo says not recorded but tuned.
I've heard of other scales.
Yeah, it's the tuning. It's the tuning. It's 8440 hertz is the modern tuning that they use.
All right, Nathan, in the comments on YouTube, I put the easy to do home experiment, but basically you just get a card, get a large leather needle, stick a hole through it, and glue a real fine wire like magnetic wire or a piece of hair. Put it down through the middle to make your double slit. Use a cheap dollar store laser pointer, like you use for the cat to chase or whatever,
Right.
And it will do the double slit experiment. Remember, this experiment was originally done in 1803. He didn't have any fancy equipment. So,
and what does this do now?
Remember the double slit experiment?
What are we supposed to look for? How do we detect the double slit outcomes?
Well, if you look at the video, it'll show you. But with a double slit, if it was just strictly particles, you would have two parallel lines. That's not what you get. You get a bunch of parallel lines.
Right.
Which shows
I understand that. How?
Which shows the waviness of the light beam.
Okay. Here is my question. I have a box. I cut a hole in the side. I put the hair on the side of it. I tune the laser on the hair, right? Was that you? I guess, okay, that's fine. Somebody took the comment down. Cool. Now, how do I tell? It's a laser. It's on a frequency my eyes can't pick up, except for...
Yes, you can. Get a red laser, like you use for the cats.
Right. Laser pointer.
You can see that.
I can see the laser, yeah. But I can see all the particles in a blur. How do I detect
actually,
one going here, one going there?
Actually, you do see distinctive bars. It's not one great big blur. It's distinctive bars, and you're right. You have to get your laser pointer at just the right distance for you to see the bars.
Okay.
But other than that, that's it. I mean, the original experiment, 1803. He was doing it with candles.
Okay.
And that's
so
how
the bars will show up.
Right.
And this is not a prismatic effect of hitting a hair.
You know what? They've questioned that. And if you look at the video I listed, they talk about that. And there's other videos out there using exactly the same experimental method, maybe a different laser pointer. One of them went with a 5,000 watt 5,000 milliwatt laser. In other words, 50 watt laser to do it. No difference in the outcome. So,
Okay.
you know, it's you know, they've talked about prismatic effect, but no, it doesn't seem to be prismatic effect. It seems to be the fact that it's showing the waviness and the particleness of a light wave, the duality
Okay.
of light.
Well, if I can make that happen, I will. I will run the experiment right here on my little area, and I will see what happens. Okay. I have a
Right
box.
on.
I have a pointer. What?
Oh, Hungar just entered the show or the chat.
Okay. Hey, Hunger, I see that now. And Frank, it says devices not connected. I see you coming back in, but it says devices not connected.
I had the same problem. I had to
Yeah.
reboot.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but that's fine. Welcome to the show, Hungar.
Where's Hungar? Where is he at?
Oh, he's in the chat. He's just saying hi. He's a very good friend of us gamers and free thinkers, and he's just all around great guy.
Okay. But how do y'all like the name of the title of the show, The Day the Mainstream Stood Still? I like that.
I was wondering because
like it's frozen sometimes.
we in the gaming industry, as Frank would attest to, and James L, of course, obviously, we've had a lot of stuff going on that made me think that you were like paying attention to that, but I know you're not, which is probably a good thing. I'm wondering if you know what I mean. I'm wondering if it's not just a localized phenomenon.
Okay, you're gonna have to.
Universe?
Yeah, you're gonna have to be more specific because I don't know what you're meaning.
The big company that shall not be named is pulling some shenanigans, trying to make it impossible for smaller companies and smaller people to make gaming books and supplements for like role playing games, and they're trying to just
a kind of microcosm of like things being centralized and like digitized and put on the subscriber model and lots of skullduggery with copyright. I have a feeling that they're actually going really hard with all of this, and then they'll actually walk it back to the point where they really want it so they can appear like they're reasonable. You know what I mean?
Doing us a favor.
And then incrementally work it back to where it is currently anyway. Like,
it's caused a huge commotion that's basically all everybody's talking about. And
if you make stuff for D&D, like supplements for it, and you got to pay them a big tithe, and they control all the style guide, and it's very politicized, and blah blah blah. Like, I don't care. There's a million other games I'll play. So
right. Yeah. But it was weird how for the whole week, that's all every channel was doing that, and I got sucked into it a little because I'm.
Weirdly, I didn't notice that as much because besides you and a few other kind of paranormal channels and history channels and like painting channels, I normally follow more like people who put up battle reports and games and stuff like that. When there's only so much like talking about the hobby that I can kind of tolerate, if that makes sense.
Yep. That's why this is my break for the week. But it was just what I was trying to get at is that the whole community sort of ground to a stop to talk about this one stupid thing, like James said, that's just going to be much ado about nothing. But that's everybody, it's just like the whole week.
No one we know is going to be that affected by it. You know what I mean? Like
Victor,
maybe one or two people. Yeah, that's about it. But I mean, knowing that, I'll go and buy one of his RPGs at some point. You know what I mean?
Right, but it was just like I said, everybody, all my friends' channels, they just all just screeched to a halt and had to talk about it. And I'm like, can we move on and do what we were doing before? Can we go back to actually, enjoying the thing that we love so much? But I think
there's a lesson in that, which is like not empowering things you don't like by giving them too much of your energy. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, the only reason I got
Like,
sucked into
we'll
it is
do
because,
it.
you know, Table Breakers, I think it was. Yeah, Thursday night, you know, the other channel that I'm part of, they, you know, that's what they wanted to talk about. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, actually, it wasn't even that, but yeah, you know, it's over. I'm
We'll
done
do
with it. I'm going back to, you know, trying to actually, you know, enjoy life, because that was our message, you know, for the new year. Let's throw out as much positivity as we can until we start making people, you know, come down with diabetes, you know, through all the positivity.
We're all a little bit guilty of it. You know what I mean? Like, we all do it from time to time.
So what was your angle on it, Nathan? Your version.
Okay. You're talking about.
Sorry, James.
You're talking about
you're right.
the gaming industry. You're right. I don't follow that too well. I just don't. I mean, I used to, but it caused, you know, following the gaming industry caused me too much stress. And when the new versions started coming out, all the Muggle players, now I know them as Muggles, started fighting with each other, saying, I like the new version. I like the old version. I don't like this. I don't like that. And I was like, I'm out.
I find the drama a bit tiresome. I'm not that interested. Like, I've never played D&D since I was a kid. Like, that was the last role-playing game I played when I was like 14 with friends. I had no idea what I was doing anyway. Like, you know, I was probably playing it wrong, like quite wrong at that age. You know?
Are you signed in as me again, Shadow?
Don't think
I think
so.
you are. Well, it says Nathan says, good for you, Bo. And I know you said that. I didn't say that.
Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Every time, I don't know why that does that, because under my window down below, it says Shadow and Sun, but then whenever I type, it comes out as you.
I don't know. I looked at some of the settings, but there must be some hidden things going on because I can't change the stuff. Yeah, edition
It's
wars.
quantum.
I
Do you
guess.
guys like my spruce deck? That's all spruce, Shadow.
Lots of Greeblies in them boxes.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the power of spruce.
Wow. I think I can. I'm pretty close. I'm about half that if I take them out of the boxes, but they're in the boxes.
Yeah. And I got all my Kings of War stuff organized now as well. All my armies ready
You're
to
a
go.
madman.
Yeah. Getting better in here all the time. Hotter in here all the time too.
About chicka wow wow.
Yeah. The gaming table is almost clear. Very proud.
Yeah, but my gaming table is the dinner table, and it's covered with dinner.
Yeah, I don't. YJ said something. I don't subscribe to any of them, right? I do have Amazon Prime only because of the shipping option, but I don't follow no narratives from anywhere. I don't have any of the other ones. I do have PayPal because it's so easy to use.
Yeah, you got to buy stuff.
I killed my PayPal.
And I can send people. You did what?
I killed my PayPal off.
Well,
you know.
Okay.
That was it was a big step. It was a big step. It was like cutting off a limb, but you know, there's only so much of this crap you can buy.
Oh well. When I want to send someone money, first I like being in that position. I like having a common way to do that. And these little things like a Cash App and others, they seem scammy.
I don't have money. I have a girlfriend.
Is that how that works?
Come on now. Yeah, I'm a deadbeat from way back.
So if I get rid of mine, I'll get a. Oh, you know what? That's how that does work. That's exactly how that works, because I go in and it's like everyone says, "Oh my God, the guy has a job and a car and stable housing, isn't on meth. You better stay away from him." What?
Well, that might be regional. Who knows? Depends on where you are, right?
Yeah, region of Earth. Earth is the region. Anyway.
Keeping the aliens away.
Yeah. Well, speaking of keeping aliens away, right? They don't want to mess with us because we're the wild animals to be observed.
Now, look at this foul-colored substance. Look at this.
What is it? Health potion?
Green juice. Yeah.
I just learned a whole bunch of cool things. I'm trying to do low carb, right? Trying. And I just learned a whole bunch of ways to make bread without using wheat. You can use beans and chicken. It's very gringo. It's very gringo. I just learned how to use that stuff.
That doesn't sound like bread at all.
You know,
Nathan,
it
that
doesn't sound like
bread
it.
at all.
It doesn't sound like it. But everyone who's done it has says, "Oh my God, it tastes like chicken nuggets." The chicken says it tastes like chicken nuggets. But it's basically you take a can of chicken, a can of chicken, and a teaspoon of baking soda, teaspoon of baking powder, blend it, put it in your pan, bake it just like you would bread, and you have bread. And I'm like, holy shit, man, that sounds actually pretty good. And like,
That's weird.
In 2023, I kind of arrived at the realization that I like bread a lot, so I'm just going to exercise a bit more.
Yeah. Bread saved my life once, guys. Bread saved my life, so I owed a debt of gratitude.
I have to watch it because of blood sugar issues. And bread is okay. Bo Paints Minis is ripping us back on track to the mainstream ufology. Who are the aliens? You know what? I'm going to post that up here, right?
Yeah, totally.
Let's go over this.
I've been racking my brain on that question. I've been driving myself nuts on that question.
Yeah. Who are they?
A bit of both?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're somewhere from other planets, from other dimensions, both? Yes. Yes. Because, I went over this in the first hour. We are set, and YJ said this too, right? We're set in a certain set of frequencies. We're put there. If it's too cold, we can't go there. Too hot, too cold, we can't go there. So there's temperature. Okay. And what happened? Okay, well, whatever. It's better. Somebody left. Frank took off. Okay. If it's too hot, too cold, we won't be there. If the magnetic field is not present to protect us from outside influence, we won't be there because we aren't. And if it's not air, if there's no oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere, we won't be there. So we won't be there. And gravity. If there's not gravity suitable to us, we're not there, right? We're here. Now, Monty is saying we are. And I would like to hear more, Monty. So people are aliens? Okay, you've got to define what is an alien. Someone not from here or someone that is not human. That's why I say not human, right? I say when I had my sighting, right, in Indiana, I called them the non-humans. I don't know where they're from. I just know they're not human. because there's a whole bunch of different people rumored to be around here. Like there are a certain kind of grays living underground. They all live underground. So we're led to believe, right?
They
Yep.
originally meant to harvest gold.
That was one, you know what? I'm going to say that is one set of circumstances. And I bet there are others that we have no clue about because mainstream has stopped.
I think they were also trying to put an end to panpipe music.
What?
Okay, you're going to have to go deeper with that because panpipe music.
Yeah, they can't
gonna have
stand
to-
it. You know those guys who always like they're in every city in the world wearing ponchos, playing panpipes, selling CDs.
No.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
If you ever go to like the fair, you go to the fair and there's like someone there selling CDs of pan flute music.
No, we got mariachis here.
That's better. That's
I
way
got
better.
mariachis here too.
That's
There's
cool.
mariachi in
We've got
Nashville.
that, but I've also seen a lot of like Native American music.
I think Morrissey
When
should
we go
do
to
a mariachi album with a mariachi backing band.
Mm.
That would be
Okay.
awesome if Morrissey collaborated with mariachi artists. Because I know he
Bo
loves
is
Mexico.
saying, I'm bringing Bo back up here. Bo is saying, right, we are not from here. Okay, that is not a simple question. Yes, we are from here, but it seems that we have been altered to be here differently.
Our spirit
And-
is not from here.
Right.
I came
Spirit
out of
realm-
a seed pod.
Spirit realm is a whole different thing, it seems like. They know about each other. Spirit realm, off-earth realm, they know about each other because they kind of affect each other, but they're not in the same place, so to speak. And, okay, one thing at a time here. We're not from here? Yes and no. Okay, private chat here is useless, y'all. I can barely do anything. Okay. All right, Frank says he had to go, has stuff to do, but he's listening. Okay, cool. And let's see here. All right. Yeah, okay. We're okay. Part of us are the physical part that is bred here is from here, but the spirit is not from here. I concur with Joe. The part of us that is not from here is from a whole different set of rules, right? Whole different set of rules. And for some reason, according to R. Keith Andrews, we are able to affect those rules. We are able to effectively use those rules here when nobody else can. The quantum link, 0 point energy, he puts it, is the way he puts it. Okay. So the spirit part of us, Bo, see, this is not an easy thing to talk about. It's not a set of points to get across is not easy. And Bo continues on. Okay, your faith says yes to what? I would like to know. My faith says yes. To what? To which part of it? The flesh part that's here, that's from here, or the spirit part that's not from here? Okay, and then Bo continues. Is the spirit realm another dimension? I have no other word for it, so yes. The spirit realm has got to be another dimension, because it seems like Earth, us here, we're at a nexus point where everything comes, where a bunch of stuff comes together. You got spirit world over here, and then you got off-worlders over here. They know about each other, they see and communicate, but we don't see either one of them like we see each other now, right? Because watching other people's personal experience, observation is an important part of this stuff, right? The the person, she's on YouTube, Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I sent her a message, what about aliens? When she was talking to her spirits, right? And she got a very strange response. She's like, whoa, I've never seen this response before. And she says what the spirit tells her, like she's mirroring, because we can't hear him, we can hear her. She says, oh, I'm not supposed to talk about that. I can't tell you anything about that. And
Well, why not? Why not?
What rules are there? I want to know what rules there are. I want to know why. Why not? Okay.
Yeah, just
so
look
there's
at
that.
any culture to go far enough back. They all touch the sky gods.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there are places right now where people have done this on video. They've gone to places like door to the sky, door to the sun, door to the heaven, door to the mountain. They've gone and done things, and what they say doesn't jive with what the camera shows. But something happens. What are they talking about? They're not going in the physical realm. They're going somewhere else, and it seems like absolutely nothing happens on camera. But the camera can't pick it up. I've watched a lot of people do this stuff online. There's this place in, I want to say New Mexico or Nevada, Doorway to the Sun. It's like, it looks like a doorway that's been chipped out of a mountain. But again, no one knows how they made it. There's one in Peru too. There's one here in the United States. There's several. And
there's one in New Mexico with where the Anasazi Indians were at.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. And this one guy, he went to one, and he set his camera up just like a YouTuber does, and filmed himself doing this stuff. He had the key, which looked like a big golden medallion, and he went through the ceremony, and the ceremony was a small little. It was like chanting, right? And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm back. I'm like, whoa, what happened? Tell me what happened. And I don't think he's ever made a follow-up video to that. I'll have to say that. Okay, let's continue on. That was, okay, another dimension, yes, and also no. See, none of this stuff is easy. None of this stuff is simple. Okay.
Nathan, I don't think you're being evasive. I think you're describing spaces that kind of overlap, right?
Right.
Like,
oh, no, I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm not evading a question. I want to answer the question, but if I don't got it to say it, I'm not going to make stuff up.
Well,
you know?
I think you're going with the dual slit experiment. You're describing exactly what scientists now are doing, saying it's a duality. Light is both a particle and a ray.
Yes. Right.
And as for Bo, until I can learn ancient Sumerian, I don't know about that gold thing. It sounds possible, but whether it's, a fact, I don't know. But it's kind of weird how, gold has this effect on everyone, everywhere, even, in places where it should be meaningless. In ancient history, it should have been meaningless, but yet it wasn't.
Who's great?
Oh, that's me. Sorry, I was standing. I got to do something with my fingers, and I'm working on stuff, and I can't help it. Yeah, that's me.
It's okay. Okay, yeah, I just put it in the chat. I didn't know what was going on. I was muted.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Normally I mute it, but I was just like, I just needed to file this one little thing real quick, and I thought it would take less time than it would take to mute me. Yeah, that's weird too. Nathan, the aliens were blue in India. That's kind of really way out there when you think about it. They if they were, if they were making science fiction up, in ancient India, they could have easily just done anything else but blue. Obviously, they could have, that doesn't sound right. The fact that they chose blue and they chose some of the other things they did to write about, it seems like people would have called them out if it wasn't true back when they wrote that. It's like there were lots of witnesses of people who were blue and very, very different. They could have just said, we never find anything that, if in today's society, if you said you saw blue people would call you out and there'd be records of people calling you out. But instead, this just went on and on and on as, gospel for the people in India. And no one ever called them out. No one ever said, this isn't true, or, there's another way, or there's another version of the truth. They just all just believed it like, yeah, well, we all saw it. Kind of
because
attitude.
It was there. It was right there to be seen.
Well, considering like a large portion of India got kind of dominated by the Muslim Mughal Empire in the Middle Ages, and yet still retained like, a large portion of its belief, like the vast portion of the landmass. Like, absolutely. Because
they're still trying to take it over.
They kind of they give you the application form, but you're supposed to take it,
Well, I mean, we to this day we're finding ancient graffiti that's mocking or putting down people from the old days, like ancient Rome and things like that. We're still finding graffiti, but we've never found anything chiseled on a wall or some some spray painted saying these blue guys, that's just it's just a joke. You know what I mean? You would think that one guy would have said, yeah, this is a bunch of crap. They're just making stories up. But we've never seen that. And there's lots of reasons why aliens would potentially be blue.
Last night, my girlfriend was, she saw me watching Jeeves and Wooster. And she asked me whether it was sort of implied that they were a couple. And I was like, dude, just even that question is such a tiny slice of like a tiny culture. Like, I'm like, think of all the different perspectives there would have been throughout history. Think about like the way men and women have lived like such separate lives for like the large portion of human history, like in terms of their profession and their social life and stuff like that. I'm like, that's such a 2023 question.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not following that question. Men and women now?
The point being that like we always approach these things with our biases and our understanding and our standards. You know what I mean? Like it's very difficult for us to conceive of like even a morality or like a social structure different to our own. Like it always shapes how we perceive things.
Yes.
To a certain point. I mean, there are some basics that have been some constant moralities and things like that are sort of universal.
Yeah.
But this one's very different. When you look into Indian mythologies and things like that, it's vastly different than everywhere else. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and there's actual physical stuff.
The visual aspects of it are even
like 500. There's like 500 sub cults within Hinduism, but they all have certain constants, and like the appearance that you're talking about is one of those things.
Right.
Like in every region, like the kind of origin story of gods and their relationship to each other is a little bit different, and like the way they're worshipped is a little bit different. But certain things like the appearance is like fairly consistent as like blue or kind of like almost like obsidian black skin, if that makes sense.
Right.
I've also seen that depicted as well in some regions, but that's the only change. Like, and that's specific to certain gods like Kali.
Right, but when you look at all of the mythologies, worldwide, theirs is just so full of just things that are just vastly different.
It's really dynamic and lively and colorful and heroic, and there are hints of like amazing technology, and it's really interesting. And a friend of ours was saying, if you want to understand the kind of pre-Christian European religion, like India is a good place to kind of get an idea of how they viewed things in terms of like cycles of death and rebirth and, different ages of man and that sort of thing, classifying different epochs of time and, each one having sort of a different spiritual life.
Even they believe that there are 400,000 different species of intelligent life out there. Why would they even be talking about something like that? Nobody's ever, no other culture ever said, hey.
It points to them being pretty high culture, right? Like,
it took everybody else thousands of years to start talking about the plurality of world.
There's an amazing kind of clash where if you look at parts of Central Asia where the ancient Greeks came through and actually mixed philosophy and sculpture with Hindu and Buddhist philosophy and sculpture. So there's like a kind of Bactrian, East meets West, Hellenistic, pagan kind of area in Central Asia where you find all these artifacts where they cross over the Greek world and the Asian world from that period.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of exchange.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of exchange. Yeah, the world was interconnected, and it's been shown over and over again. And the
world's always kind of been globalized in a way, but maybe along more natural lines, perhaps, than the kind of weird. This region is just going to produce widgets kind of way that we're going.
The capitalistic way. The capital. Say it. Call it like it is. The capitalistic way.
Well, just the whole pyramid thing.
Oligarchical.
Every day they're finding more pyramids.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
How's that even possible?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
no one would say, "Oh, I got 100 thoughts in my head."
Let's build a pyramid for no reason.
Yeah, let's just do it because we want to.
Or because we can.
The elite are trying to convince you that all those pyramids are the nipples of the earth.
The flat earth. Let's go with that. I'm going to add to that theory. They're the nipples of the flat earth. Go for it. They're the waterboard of history. They don't want
you reaching your spiritual potential and realizing that the earth is more than a giant boob.
Yeah, the flat earth nipples. Okay.
I kind of love those flat earthers.
This is a good question, Monty.
I have a soft spot for those flat earthers.
Okay. That's that's a link. Okay. But this is a good question. Is your timeline, of course, yes, the timeline is smaller because, yes.
Well, my country is 220 or 240 years old, or 60,000 years old, depending on how you look at it.
Depending on how you, yeah. But yeah, the timeline, okay, he's talking about, he's in the UK, right? Yes, our timeline is shorter because we established the timeline beginning with colonization. And I'm not saying no comment on colonization one way or another. It happened. We didn't do it. And if I see somebody in, yeah, we didn't do it. Other people did it. And that being what it is, right? And yeah, Monty, your timeline is longer. If we're talking about timelines, yeah, your timeline over there is longer because we've established this for a fraction of an eye blink over here, and the rest of the world is so much further along, not advanced. We've been hindered. We've been hobbled, okay, because the advancement is us, and all that ancient history, the things that happen. The element that they're forgetting, the monsters, the gnomes, the dragons, all that stuff is, I call it the quantum element, the element of spirit, because it was done, right? Joe, you came up with this example, manipulating reality of the elephant on the tightrope. Would you like to reiterate?
No.
I will reiterate then, because it's a very valid one. Elephant, and we have, okay, who's been to the circus and seen the elephant walk the tightrope? Everybody who's been to the circus, practically.
I've never been to the circus.
You've never been to the circus?
Not a real circus. I've been to like rinky-dink little things, but nothing with even a high wire.
I escaped.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, well, in the circus, you see an elephant walk across a rope. Elephant are multi-ton animals. How does that happen? Here's how it happens. From being a little elephant, he is trained. He is tied to a peg. The peg is in the ground with a rope tied around his neck or harness or whatever, right? He gets it in his mind. Yeah, he gets it in his mind. The rope, it stops me. The rope is indestructible. It just is, right? The rope, to him, the rope is indestructible. So when the elephant grows up in the circus, they take a rope that is very similar or the same rope that he grew up with. They're very long-lived, probably not the same rope, but similar. And, you know, they string it across and they tell the elephant, they have the elephant walk across the tightrope. Now, elephants are really good at balancing. I mean, you don't think it because us stupid little meat monkey humans don't see it in our little ways of thinking, but they've got excellent balance, and they do it. They walk across the tightrope. How does that work? That rope is like twine, okay? Benefit of the doubt, it's steel cable. So, is your steel cable rated for 4 tons at a square foot? No, it isn't. It is not. If it was, it wouldn't look like a rope, okay? So they're walking across this tightrope. How? Because the elephant is programming reality in his local area. That rope is indestructible. That rope cannot break. I've been trying to break that rope all my life. The rope cannot break. Reality gets programmed by the observer.
Okay.
Right?
Now I recognize what you're talking about, but you've changed it quite considerably.
Did I? Well, maybe I added it, made it more able for me to understand.
Is that why jungle rope bridges always seem a bit fragile? Because people kind of program them with their minds. They're like, oh, that looks a bit precarious. I don't know if we're going to make it. You know, in every film, they run across the jungle rope bridge, and at the last minute, the vines snap just at the last minute, and they just make it. You know, is that human nature to just make that happen? Is the audience making that happen? It kind of sometimes feels like it is. Like, you know what's going to happen when they run across.
Well, it might be. Oh, sure.
No. He's got kind of a point. I know he's trying to be a card, but it's like that. There are a lot of, almost like stereotypical tropes like that, but they had to start somewhere.
Yeah. No, I think you were basing it on one of my teachings on fear.
Proceed.
False evidence appearing real is what false evidence appearing real. That spells fear.
Oh,
and
okay.
What it was is a baby elephant can be tied with a rather stout rope, but just a rope. You tie it around his legs, and he pulls and pulls and pulls, and he can't pull up the anchor. He can't break the rope. As he grows, he becomes bigger and stronger, but he's still looking at a 2-inch rope. But he doesn't try anymore because you can't break that rope. He's tried. He tried for months and months and months, and that rope wouldn't break. It's false evidence.
Okay.
Appearing real.
That's incredibly sad.
And that's also, I guess I changed it a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's
I like
different.
Nathan better. Now I'm sad. Poor baby elephant.
But you can also see, y'all ever seen the meme of the donkey tied to a plastic chair? The donkey doesn't go anywhere. He thinks he's tied to the plastic chair. That's more along Joe's line of thinking. Joe's story. The donkey tied to a $5 plastic chair. A donkey.
Experience is a factor, though. Surely, like, even animals learn. Like, when you go to your old school or a playground you knew when you were a small child, the first thing that strikes you is like, wow, everything's really tiny. Like, I remember this space being huge, like endless. I remember all the equipment being giant and like climbing it, like in my mind's eye. And now I look at it, it's just a tiny little playground, right? So the elephant must kind of, to some extent, agree with the rope. You know what I mean? The elephant is also kind of making a choice over time. As it grows and grows stronger, like, it's up to the elephant whether to test the rope or not. I'm extending this metaphor as far as it can go. I'm dying of shame.
You're stretching the rope. You're stretching the rope.
Monty, I am going to save your link for after the show. I'll put it in the description. But it's any links you put in here, they come up as redirects, and I have to actually go to them. So if I start to lag, that's why. Okay, well, that story works for both ways. You can program reality, and you can have reality condition you as well. I like to call that brainwashing.
That's what it is.
I will be putting that. Yeah.
Behavior modification.
Okay. The link that he put is an ebook and Aliens in Celtic History and Legend, Cases from Britain. Stargate SG-1. Stargate Atlantis. Yeah, they went way deep in that. Alrighty then. I'm just looking through the chat now. We've been talking I'm going back to Nipples of the Earth and reading forward.
Do we have to?
No, we don't have to. I have to. I'm just looking back.
This is why I don't come on that long. Because by the time you guys are on, I'm so tired. And I'm like, so what if the Earth was a giant mechanical boob?
I can move the Earth with a long enough.
You're killing me.
Give me a lever, and I will milk the Earth.
Okay, Bo, in the chat, the first says "We all are, Bo," and it was Shadow, and I said thanks, Bo. That was me. Yeah, that's confusing, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a fix for that, but I don't know how.
I think I have to
Anyway,
do it on my end.
My girlfriend is off to see Caitlin Aurelia Smith tonight, who is a really talented musician. You should check her out if you get the chance. She makes really nice atmospheric music with like a giant modular synthesizer. But I'm going to have to see her off, so I'll sign off now and let you guys have a substantial and adult conversation.
Oh, come on back when you're done.
I've been
Well,
stacking
dude, it was.
I've been stacking sprues and moving boxes since like 6 o'clock this morning, and it's like 6 o'clock at night now, so I'm pretty exhausted.
Okay.
You've been
Well,
stacking her.
We'll be here for a while.
yeah.
I'll listen in.
And
I'll listen in. I'll catch you later.
it was great
'Cause
having you back,
I'm
man.
I'm at the point of tiredness where everything I say is like silly.
Okay,
So I'll
I
catch you later.
understand.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Take care.
Alrighty then. But I am glad you came back, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go forth, be quantum, and tell us about it. Come back with some great stories.
Yeah, he's really actually been, pushing himself lately to tidy up his area, and I wish I had that kind of energy right now, but I'm like creating crap on my work table, even though I haven't finished with like 20 other projects, and I gotta fix that.
Right. Yeah, same. I got to finish something. I've been doing my own advice again, baby steps, confidence building things. Like today, I put a Vex kit together. Baby steps. It was nice. It was fun. And I'm starting to think possibly I don't have the ability to have an empty room, but I can have a focal point. I'm thinking a shadow box with my fancy black 3.0 paint. And then I can like look into the void and like everything else is outside. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing something like that. Easy stuff. Play to my strengths. Arts and crafts paint. Got it. I'm thinking shadow box right here. And then when I need to focus on something, I need to tune everything else out. And I have a focal point of void. And I can stare at the void and let everything else go for the moment until I can go and focus on something else. Okay. But that was my idea.
But that was right.
Well, that was my idea. No buts. It was something I'm thinking about doing. And I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it'll look cool in the
calm.
background too.
Yeah, I could make it shadow box on one side, quantum sign on the other.
You need a dragon for your box?
I do not. I am good.
Oh,
I am okay.
You need one.
I am
Hey,
good.
have you been catching Arkeith lately?
I have been catching bits and pieces, but I haven't been able to, because it's most of the time I'm at work and I get called away and I try to get back to it, but then I get called away again and it's been picking up. So they're changing some stuff and I wasn't really expecting it being a night crew. Did something, hold on, Bo? No, it's not that. It's not a Vex. They're building kits and they're
Like Legos, right?
Yeah, it's a lot like Legos, like the Technic sets.
You had
and
an
I got
eyebrow raised from me when you said that.
What?
You had an eyebrow raised from me when you said that, and then you're going in.
Yeah, not that kind. No, they're on sale on the shelf across from there, and it's the Muggle books of magic. I took some pictures. I should make healing crystals and meditation and simple spells, and it's all kitchen witchery. I did take some pictures. They're at Five Below, And
Oh
when I
my
saw him, I was
God.
like, yeah, all that stuff is at Five Below. And it's all
That should give you an idea of how much it's worth.
well, it's not the stuff, it's the person. So yeah, the books are useless. The books are
Right.
practically useless. I mean, I've written a book better than those. You know, it's not published and it's not here anymore, but it's been
It is
written.
a little frightening. It is a little frightening when you think about the marketing aspect, though. Who's going to be popping into those stores more than anybody else? 12-year-old girls.
That's exactly who it's aimed at because it's right next to knitting and needlepoint and those books, crafting.
Mhm.
But
What do you
it's
think
like
it's
they're
called the craft for?
yeah, it's right next to it, and it's like they're trying to take the esoteric and make it mainstream, which will never happen. Okay, it's never going to happen. Not because there's resistance to it; they're not interested. We are interested. The
Yeah, if there
mainstream
was a
is
book
not
you could
interested.
buy that would make it all work, it would be on the bestseller list since the bestseller list existed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and they don't work because the person can't do it, or the person isn't doing it. The intention is not there. Back to programming reality. Back to the quantum. You got to believe it. R. Keith, uh, in my email with R. Keith, right? I brought up some stuff. I asked him, and this is why I need to go back and watch his shows, but I got to binge all these things after the fact.
Yeah, he's a good
And
guy. I like him. My son's
oh
like,
hell yeah,
you know, he's like, who's this guy? He's talking to you. You know, I mean, he knows we all talk to each other. You know, through the chat and stuff like that. You know, on shows and we respond and stuff. But he had no idea who he was, and I'm like, he's just a good guy. You know, he just seems like a good guy who's trying to help people out. That's one of my talents is being able to recognize the good guys from the bad guys, and he's a he's a decent guy, and I hope he's watching the show, and I hope all his little issues just vanish like this next hit, and
right.
this year is absolutely wonderful for him.
Well,
Yeah, and
Shadow,
he hit, huh?
Shadow, the old expression, the good die young,
Mhm.
I'm going to outlive Methuselah.
Yeah, there's some stuff to that. That's up to you, Joe. You preach, brother.
I hear you, but I'm not buying it. I've heard you speak multiple times, and there's a little bit of light and dark in every one of us, and I can see it even right now. I can see that little glimmer in your eye, man. You're trying to hold back a smile.
Yeah. We all have a balance.
I've been waiting to say that all day, though.
I'm telling you, man, gotta have your own channel. Oh, you do? That's right. As a matter of fact, you know what? My friend? You were our 500th. You were our number 500.
Oh, good.
You were the guy. So
let's get to 1,000.
We hit 525. We got like 25 people came to the show in like less than 2 weeks. It's like, man, this year is gonna be great. This great year is just. I can just feel it, man. I don't know what it is, but I can just feel it.
It's the mainstream losing steam. We are not mainstream. It's the mainstream losing steam, and people go, well, what now? Tell you what now. Yep. Quantum Show, Spaced Out Radio, all of us, all of our Shadow and Sun, all of our stuff. And then they might actually learn something, figure something out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Bo, I'll believe that no, Bo, you ain't got anybody conned. You're another one of the great guys out there.
What?
A little bit angel, a little bit degenerate. Yeah, you should have seen us earlier on Bruce's channel. It was nothing but a room full of degenerates, and thank God my son wasn't watching because degenerate seems to be his new favorite word, and yours truly seems to get pegged with that word every freaking day. And I'm only a little bit degenerate, just one thing. Maybe two.
Like being a little bit pregnant?
No, but no.
But yeah, when the mainstream is losing steam, and they totally are. They don't know what to talk about. They're making stuff up now. They're making big stories out of little stories, and people are going somewhere else. I'm watching it happen.
Yep.
And they're coming. Yeah, they're coming to places like ours, like Shadow and Sun, my channel, Goof On, and ever since the division in ufology has blurred enough, people are coming back because now that Lou Elizondo is gone, well, who's the ringleader now? There is none. Everybody wants that spot, but nobody is. Lou got reassigned, it seems like. The office that they were going for got established. The urgency was passed, and so he went to something else, and he got hired somewhere
I never
else.
trusted that guy for a second. He had too much of that.
He's an operative. I saw it from the very beginning. I saw him talk. I was like, that guy is following protocol. That guy.
Yep.
Joe, if you'd seen it, you'd have been like, oh, I remember having to do that too. Yeah, I remember having to do it too. He was on protocol. And the protocol dictates when you're done with the mission, you go to the next mission. He was done with that mission. Mission complete. Whatever the outcome was. And he's on to the next mission. And he's not such a big player in this next mission. And he's spinning it like, I got out of the government and now I'm out of this. And then he goes, I was following the rules of the government. I was doing what they told me to.
Dude, that little soul patch was like a big, huge giveaway, was it not? You know what I mean? It was like, look at me. I'm one of the cool kids. See, I'm letting my hair grow. See?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was following him, and he was going on all the small channels recruiting fans, and he admitted to doing this. He went on. I think it was Street, right? No, not this Green Street, not Green Street. He went on. It's a big popular show. He's a sportscaster too. He went on a show and says, yeah, he works for the government. He's always worked for the government. And when he went to the small shows recruiting fans and faking, going up as sock accounts, fake accounts, signing in as a different name and talking to people, telling people, oh yeah, this guy's awesome. We should listen to this guy and stuff. And yeah.
That's so weak.
Oh, Bo, you are very, very correct. They don't need to be centralized. Centralized means programmed in a certain way, led to a certain conclusion. You can't, it's not going to be accurate, because if it's centralized, that's what we have now. That's exactly what we have now. What they're trying to do now is centralize it. And when you centralize, then you get the human egos involved, and the egos start to bend to each other, and you get things like the History Channel and their version of stuff. If you look at the History Channel, there was no contact across the ocean until Columbus, which is bullshit. There was a ton of contact. And you know what? If they don't want to rewrite the books, not because books are hard to rewrite. they don't want to rewrite the books because now it's capitalist. This is me talking. This is what I've seen. Our educational system, when you are proven wrong, you lose all your grants, all your funding, all your everything, right? Anything that you had,
I think it's actually more insidious than just that.
Oh, that's just one part, dude. This is a big rabbit hole. That's just one part.
All of the people that are, trying to, say, how much older our history is, are, it's a universal squashing of that idea. There's no reason for it unless there's a reason for it, and that reason has to be that there's something more beyond just that. You know what I mean? Places like Göbekli Tepe and the other places, Karen Tepe, and a couple other places they're discovering that are clearly older than all the stuff we've been led to believe. There's, history goes back a lot farther, and it's the only logical explanation is that our history goes back farther than, ancient Sumeria, etc. And whatever's, beyond, like, they're slowly, like, being forced to admit that it's older than 10,000 years, but they're not ready to admit that there's some really important stuff that happened like 30, 40, 50, 60,000 years ago.
Right.
They're barely willing to give an inch on the 10,000 year mark because well, it's out there and we know. You know what I mean?
We've seen it. The stuff is there. All we have to
go
is go look.
They can't hide it.
The biblical scholars don't want to go past 5,000 years.
Oh, the Bible. Oh, the biblical scholars. One time I got chased away. Okay. I went to when I was a kid, I don't know if I ever told anybody this. It was dumb. I didn't think it was important. Now I think it's real important. I went to a church with a friend of mine when I was a kid. You know how you invite each other to your churches, right? Well, I went, and they stuck me in a room because I was a stranger, right? And it was like a playroom for teens. I wasn't quite a teen yet. I think I was 12 or 11, and they put me in this room because they didn't know what to do with me, right? Anyway, I got stuck in this room, and they had videotapes, and one was ancient archaeology and the Bible, and I watched it, and their rationale is so, whoa, this cannot have happened. Dinosaur bones were not put there. What? And I don't remember much about it, but it chased me away from it began pushing me away from the Bible studies of anything, right? The only thing the Bible to me now is a partially accurate historical representation of things that happened. Old Testament. Not much of the New Testament.
Than what the guys that were writing about it.
Yeah, I say partially because obviously a lot of the stuff didn't happen. But there's also
the message.
Here we go. Here we go.
Like Gilgamesh and his ark.
Right.
Gilgamesh. That's one of the points that was in my head, flying around. Gilgamesh. And the flood. The flood did happen. There is ample archaeological evidence for the flood happening. And it was not everything, Noah. It was one society led by, sorry, y'all, not sorry, led by one alien. And that alien said, you are my people. Do not go out here. Do not do what I do. The fruit of the trees of knowledge and life. And I'm pretty sure that was genetic manipulation. I'm pretty sure. And it was tossed down by the survivors of the flood. And Oh man. Yeah. Here we go. This is good. I like this. Yeah. That's a good comment, James. I heard noise in the background.
I think that's the boy laughing at James's comment, but I can't be sure.
Okay. We'll
You
say
know,
that's it.
I always wonder, just how far that Noah's Ark story goes. Have you ever thought, that maybe it was a uh, like a sci-fi sort of thing, like like I don't want to say sci-fi, but like a space thing, like that was them getting us to Earth. That was over the millennia a mistranslation of us maybe coming from Mars to Earth.
Yeah, I think so. You can say sci-fi because that's the only aspect of it that we can relate and understand is the sci-fi.
I still have my own spiritual beliefs that are very centered around the Bible, but
Mhm.
I do understand that there are these things called mistranslations. The telephone game, I like to refer to that. There's
Mhm.
no way you can tell me that anything, any story could survive the retelling and remain accurate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without divine providence saying this document will never be mistranslated ever. When we already know that if you look into the Bibles of ancient history to today, there are a lot of things that have changed, little things. But it's still the telephone game. You're not going to get a 100% perfect translation every single time.
Let me say interject to right there. You're saying that, and I agree. And then you look at the oral traditions of Native Americans; they have remained unchanged. Same thing with the oral traditions of the Aborigines.
I get what you're saying, but how? How is that a
I don't
possibility?
know.
What I mean is, how do we know? How do we know it didn't get messed up 100 years ago because there's no written record?
That's how. That's exactly how.
And what is interesting is you have different populations of the world telling the same story. Now, there's a variation to it. It's like the Navajos say, there was no moon.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
weird.
All of a sudden, the moon appeared, and across all the lands there was a great flood because the moon appeared.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the water settled, their people went and hid in the caves. And I don't know how the caves didn't get flooded out, but they lived in the caves. And when they came out, the world was back to normal again. But
like how I forget who it was. Their oral or their traditions or their stories. We couldn't even see the stars because of the clouds.
Okay, James L. It's not CIA, it's CID, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. He's reading the chat. Yeah, CID. He's still a part of it. Once you're in, they're like the mafia. Once you're in, you're in. Right, Joe? I refer back to what I now lovingly refer to as the Black Ops show, one of our first shows.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my God! Look at that little cutie pie. That is one hell of a cute puppy.
This is my wife's service dog, and I think I'm.
Where's his nose? Where's his nose, though?
It got chopped off.
Poor guy. He seems like a happy little guy.
Yeah, it got chopped off in genetics.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that evil guy cuddling with this puppy. Oh my God! Can you believe that? Your cover's been blown by a puppy.
It's my wife's puppy, so guess what I'm being told, guys?
Yeah, that's the messenger right there.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Just as I was saying nice things about the puppy. Old puppy taking our Joe away from us.
All right. Well, everybody, Kiagame. I'll let Nathan explain that to you sometime. But we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay.
Take care, Joe. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Saturday.
Oh, my bad. I hit the button too quick. I'm sorry.
Oh my
Okay.
God, you kicked him out. You kicked out
Well,
Joe.
he was walking out anyway, and I thought it's
Giving him the
harder.
bums rush, man.
It seems to be
Giving him the
harder
bums
on
rush.
it's harder on the guests to leave than it is for me to go and push them out of the room.
Man.
But okay. 5 minutes.
Just you and me again, bro.
Yep. 5 minutes. I got to be right back.
Oh, guess what I'm gonna do? No, I'm kidding. This is where I take over the show. It usually happens at least once a week where I take over somebody's show and I plug my channel. That's right. My son and I, we have a little gaming channel. For those of you guys who don't know, the Shadow and Sun Show. Come check us out. Maybe we'll actually put out some content this week. We've been on vacation because we had house guests for 10 days. And they have gone back home. And now, as of Monday, we'll be getting everything back on track again with our regular programming, crafts and painting and game-ish stuff, reviews, and maybe a live stream or two. But yeah, folks, let's make this year the best one yet. We've all earned it. After everything we've all been through the last couple of years, it's time to just make the world a little bit better place, if not a lot better place, to each person, do what you can and it'll come back to you. I'm already feeling it. Everywhere I go, everything I do, trying to be just a little bit better, a little bit more positive. Thank you, Bo. That's incredibly generous of you. I don't know where we would have been had we not done what we did, but apparently, it was in the cards and the stars. We were supposed to do what we're doing, and look at all the great people we've met over the course of just this last year alone. Obviously, we have to thank Cal Benoni for getting us off our solitary keisters and just not reaching out, not making friends, not talking to people. But since then, we've met so many people. The list is a mile long of all the great people. Here he comes back. One of the great, the one, the only.
I'm back.
But you can have your show back.
Thank you.
No problem. It happens every so often. On anybody's channel I've ever been on, sometime they have to step away, so I take over the channel for a while and say some crazy stuff and make you wonder what I said. You'll have to timestamp this and go back after the show. It's like, what did he do this time?
Okay, I'll do that. I will do that. I'm looking at the chat now, and well, thank you, Bo.
Does, yeah. You're cruising up there, Nathan. I just saw the this afternoon or this evening, I should say. You're cruising up on 700, man. Mighty proud of you.
I know. I never thought. Oh, you know what? Something I touched on in the first hour was don't plan for the future. Plan for tomorrow and maybe a week. Give yourself a scale. But that question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You don't know. The situation is going to change. Everything's going to change. It's going to be a different world. It's going to be a different world in a week. But I set myself a scale, this show. What happens in a week? So I can go see in a week. I prepare for a week's time. And in 5 years. And then I said, okay, look at 5 years ago. What was going on for you 5 years ago? For me, 5 years ago is I never saw this happening. This house, these things around me, even having a stereo at all, having a channel, I had videos, but I didn't have a channel that I'm actually like making into a thing. Goofon listed me as friend of the show, a show that is friend of the show. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I'm, yeah, and I'm not only friend of the show, I'm the first friend of the show. And everybody, I'm the first in the list. I'm like, hell yeah. And so I didn't see any of this stuff 5 years ago. But go ahead. Everyone who wants to think about this, look at yourself 5 years ago. Where were you? What were you doing? And how has it changed? Because you cannot plan for it. You just can't. Okay. 5 years ago, we didn't know anything about the big C word, right? We heard, oh,
Yep.
there's some shit going down in China. Maybe we should worry about it. That's what that's what we heard, right?
Well, yeah, you know, it. Unfortunately, I've heard some stuff for a little bit longer than that
Okay,
about that
well,
and a
yeah,
couple other things.
but I'm talking about
But yeah,
just
yeah,
5 years
you know,
ago.
I really didn't think that they would, you know, do what they did, and that
Right,
that people would just line up for it. You know, just you know, okay with all the draconian, you know,
right.
things. It's just like it just shows you just how many sheep are out there.
Okay, well, you know what? Here's a good micro example. What they could have followed and apparently did. Look at the Apple crowd. Technology, the computers, the iPhones, the
Yep.
iPods, whatever. Look at the Apple crowd. They followed that mindset and they went after those people because those people are apparently successful. And I don't mean all rock stars, I mean upper middle class, good cars, good homes, good bills. Yeah, good bills. From whose
Well,
perspective, you might ask? Not ours, but good amount of debt to be in from the point of view of the debtor, right? Of the person, the owner, and they
yeah, I
followed
know.
that. Yeah, they followed that plan, and that's the reason why Steve Jobs did it because it works. You don't you bully people and you use bullying and fear to get people to bend, and they will. And he didn't. He got it from Third Reich because that works. Yeah, I
That
got
whole
mixed
fear,
feelings. Yeah,
that
fear
whole
and
fear of missing out is just a powerful tool.
yeah, fitting in. That's straight to the monkey brain. That's straight to the monkey brain. You want to fit in. You want to get along. You want to be cool like everybody else. You don't want to miss out and not have this. Well, I don't have that. I got all this. I got this. I don't need nothing else. Me and my quantum handles car. That's it. But that's how they got here. That's how they did it. They followed that model. And the model actually didn't come from the Third Reich. It came from Rome. Give them bread and circuses. And it's an extension of that. But anyway, yeah, this was a trip. My first hour, I covered all the bases and I started to spin all the way up. And I got a pot of coffee waiting for me. So, you know what? 5 minutes. Coffee time.
My God, I'm an idiot. I said, busted, I was snacking. And then I was reading the chat. Actually, I said, what is it with dogs and snacking? Anytime I open a bag of chips or a slice of cheese, this little fuzzball comes running. Yeah, you know, I you know, I don't know how he does that without having to, you know, take a bio break every 45 minutes or so. Maybe that's why he takes the hour break in between the part 1 and part 2 on Saturdays. But James, what is a Chibi World War II destroyer? You're gonna have to send me a picture. Is it like all chubby and cute? Is that the deal?
Okie doke. I got coffee now.
Yeah, that's why he's got to take the hour break in between the 2 shows.
Wait, what?
Oh, he's talking about the effects of coffee. You know, and that's why. And I was joking. That's why you got to take the break. To take a bio break in between the 2 shows on Saturday.
Oh, right. I'm looking.
You're on TV. Yes, you're on TV. And that flappy little tail of yours.
Hey there, buddy. Can he hear me?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Chewy. Hi, Chewy. Hi, Chewy.
He's such a good boy. But his tail goes nuts until I pet him, and then it stops. He's got like the full-on propeller tail. Yeah, he's my buddy. This little guy follows me around literally everywhere. He's the only dog in the neighborhood that gets to walk around without a leash.
That was my dog, Tilk. He was so cool, right? I only walked around with a leash. He would follow me, and he learned to mind, and he knew I was looking out for him, and he would warn me about all the stuff that dogs can sense. He would warn me about that stuff, because there was this dude down I was living in this neighborhood, and we were walking through, and this guy comes out of his apartment saying, "Hey man, could you help me with this shell?" And I was like, shell? And of course, my spidey sense said, don't do it. But I am trained, so I felt fairly certain, right? And I tried to bring him in with me. I'm like, is he okay coming in? Because it was the kind of metal shelving where you have the pipe and the little fittings and you tap it down onto the fitting, right?
Right.
It's that kind of thing. He had never messed with it before. They're common, but he had never messed with it before. Tilk would not go in there. When I tried to pick him up, he just nope. He noped right out of my arms. I almost dropped him. He stood right there at my door, or at his door, looking in worried, like whine barking, like talking to me, like worried. It was just coming out of him. And yeah, that guy was no good. He was in trouble all the time. And he had, I don't know what the hell was going on with him, but he was in with the wrong crowd for sure. He was the wrong crowd. And I never went back. And I'm like, dang, Teal, I know you're trying to tell me this, but he asked for help. And that's kind of like a distress call. This was, if it wasn't me, I'm wondering if it was anybody but me, would it be an ambush? And would the ambush have gone through, right? So, but if I don't know, why was it not sprung? I've wondered all that for years. It's happened
Probably
years
because
ago.
of the dog. Probably because of the dog. If he was going to mug you or something like that, the dog would have been a big issue.
Yeah, even if he was a little dog, right? He was little dog. He was like a giant Chihuahua, but he had.
Yeah, but you know what? Some people don't. They don't do dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could have been, you know, the difference between, you know, something really bad and, you know, nothing at
Yeah.
all. But
And something, the end of that little experience was once I showed him how to figure it out, because Tilk would not let me go in there, right? He did not like having him at the door. He was like, all right, the attitude of, all right, you can leave. Hey, I said leave, get the hell out of my house. And I
wow,
got the hell out of there. In contrast, another neighbor I met lived just a couple of doors down from there. Tilk loved him. And he was his name was James, right? He was the greatest guy. He was so cool. He was just a little bit older than me. He lived by himself or lived with his mom. I can't remember. And he was just so nice. And Tilk loved him to death. And he would actually like want to go play in his yard when we walked past. He didn't
that's
even
cool.
have a dog.
It's got to be
no
something
dog.
to do with the name James, right, James?
Something.
I've never met a James I didn't like.
Well, I got
As a matter
one.
of fact, the oldest person I consider a friend from kindergarten. I haven't seen the guy in 25 years, but even when we went to kindergarten through like first, sixth grade. Went to different schools, didn't see him. I want to say about 10 years later, I bumped into him. We were still friends, and he's a great guy. James Walker, you out there, man? You watching the show? Give me a ring, man. Love to see what happened to you.
YJ put in the chat, what do we do now? That is a good continuation question from my other show, using what we know. Okay. The question. So what do you guys feel is a solution to endure the big push? Oh, sorry. The big push to change perception of reality. How do we get through being strong-armed in all this?
You
Trust
just say
your
no.
instincts.
And just say no.
Yeah, trust your instincts.
Remember Nancy Reagan, and yeah, you just stay under the radar, do what you're doing, find like-minded people, hang out with them, have an escape route, so to speak. Physically, metaphorically, however you want to look at it, and just don't buy into it, and let them know you're not interested.
Yeah, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. And know that you do have a spirit guide, a team of them. They're there. They're all the time guiding us. That feeling, turn left, don't turn right. I think I should go over here. That's them. Okay. And see, they come from the spiritual side of things. Okay. Not those two sides I talked about. You got the aliens over here and you got the spiritual over here. The spiritual interact with us like that. To the aliens, we're the lions. To the spiritual, we are companions. And they're here. I'm getting a very good feeling of approval right now. Not from anyone here, I'm not even reading the chat, but I'm feeling a feeling of approval come through. And it's not very martial. It's like, yeah, you got this. You're right. You tell them. And more like coworker. But it's not like
that's awesome that you put it that way.
Don't beat the machine. Work around it. And I love bypassing. I love something breaks, bypass it. Got a broken hose, bypass it. Broken wire, bypass it. How can we bypass it? How can we override? And okay, so the solution, everyone has their own personal solution because only guidelines can exist because your certain situation is yours and mine, shadows, Mind and shadows are ours. We deal with it how we can. Everybody has to deal with it how they can and make it work. Hopefully, with no one dying, because people say death is a bad thing. No, death is not as bad. Is not the kind of bad thing they are talking about. It's bad for taxes. It's bad for the people who have to deal with it in a capitalist society. Yeah, sorry. I love bartering. Yeah. YJ? There you go. Oh, Bo. I'm just now seeing it. Yeah, follow those little nudges. You know what? If you're really wanting to follow those little nudges, okay, now I don't know what prompted my guide to talk to me the way she does. I mean, verbally, okay? Not like with my ears, but to the place in your head where words live after you hear them, okay? After you interpret the words. And Bo. But anyway, YJ, I don't know what prompted that, but it happened. And I don't even care if anybody thinks I'm crazy. So, yeah, I got spirits talking to me, especially when I need them most. And I don't even have to prompt it, right? They will come in. I don't know if I told you this story. I've said it on here before, but the oil change, right? I went for an oil change. I had a day off. Everything was good. I wasn't too late. And I said, I'm going for an oil change. Came in. No, you're not. And I was like, this is after I had established, I was still learning how to communicate, right? But it was there. And I heard the feeling, the idea of, no, you're not getting an oil change today. I was like, oh, yeah? Watch me. Meat Monkey took over. I went past it. The line wasn't too long. It was like 3 o'clock. I was like, oh, it was like 2:30. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to run around. They close at like 6 or 8. So there's plenty of time. I do some chores. I get back to the oil change place. No line. I'm like, cool. No line. Hardly any waiting. The guy comes out and says, we're closing. I'm like, what? We're closing. We don't have anybody to work. Nobody's authorized any overtime, and we don't have enough employees to do the work. I'm like, okay. And I'm like thinking at her, okay. I'm still getting an oil change. So I go to the other oil change place. Same deal. There's the manager there, no workers, and nobody getting oil changes. They're being used as parking spots. I didn't get an oil change that day. And that was one of the many solidifying moments to tell me, yes, listen to this little voice in your head. They're on your side. And I do. I definitely do. And I'm sure, okay, let me describe Xena. Xena is 6 feet tall, in my mental image, 6 feet tall, dark Middle Eastern Asian skin, and buff. When shit needs doing, Xena comes and helps me do it in a bunch of different ways that my monkey brain can't comprehend. Okay, that's Xena. That's the person that came to me. And I don't know why it happened, but it happened, right? And Dave Scott went through something similar. His stuff is with off-worlders. My stuff is not. My stuff is spiritual. His stuff is with off-worlders. Great. And that's Xena. That's one. I don't know her real name. I gave her that name. And the other one is Sabrina. I also gave her that name because, okay, Xena is the get shit done person, right? When you got to be mean, Xena. And the other person is Sabrina. She is the not the mean person. She's not the shit gets done person. She gets shit done. Of course, it comes with the territory of being a spirit guide. But she works on a different aspect of stuff. If I'm like, we all do this in times of insecurity, times of vulnerability. Sabrina is there for me, right? She's the one who bolsters me when, okay, Xena is like, smack you on the back of the head, get off your ass. It's time to do some shit. That's not Sabrina. That's Xena. And Sabrina is the one who says, okay, buddy, you know, we all got your back, and we're going to help you through this. And we're going to help you do. Yeah, that's Xena. She's the more affectionate, passionate one. Not, I'm talking sensual, right? Not passionate. Passionate is like, kill, kill, kill. That's also passion. That's Xena.
Yeah.
And Sabrina is the more sensual aspects of stuff. So those are just the two I know. I've been told there are more, but I haven't spoken to them yet. And maybe I'm only slotted to be talking to these two. And they are definitely different individuals. Definitely. Okay, where are we at?
Well, you know, just goofing off in the chat. You know, as much as I kid you about it, you know, where's mine? You know,
Here, there.
Hold on a second. Mine's always been the big guy, man.
Okay.
But you know what? You know what though? I know he's a busy guy, and if he wants to hook me up with a couple of regular spirit guy, I'm totally cool with that. You know, I got lots of free time, and talking to myself sometimes just seems crazy. Especially when the little guy goes back to school and stuff. As a matter of fact, there are many days that I don't say, I'm awake, but I don't talk for 6-8 hours during the day. I'm just doing my own thing in my own head. And, other than, the four-legged guy who don't answer back, just gives me that look.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be, interesting to have that sort of thing going on.
Interesting is one way to put it.
No, I don't mean any sort of facetiousness at all.
No, I know, but that's, dude. If this ever happens with you, you'll be like, oh yeah, interesting is a word for it, but it's way beyond that. Because, like, the most unlikely thing, if I'm wanting to do something and I'm not supposed to be doing that thing, I will have the most unlikely stuff happen. Okay, I went from El Paso. I had a girlfriend, right? It was a bad relationship from the beginning. It shouldn't have happened. And she was in the army also. She got sent to Germany. I was like, okay, well, I'll never see you again. Damn it. Fell in love. Okay. Heartbreak. And, well, it started off from a bad place, right? I'm not going to get into it. She's out there still. I don't know where. I've tried to look her up, but things have changed. I don't even know if she's still alive. But she's in your neck of the woods. She's in California. I think San Francisco. Not your neck of the woods specifically, but your state. And she was in Ventura for a long time. But that's all I know. And she went back to Ventura. But that was 15 years ago. But she got pregnant and was having a baby, and they sent her to California. They sent her to San Francisco, right? To have the baby because of medical facilities or whatever. I don't know the situation. I was already out of the picture. And I was like, I'm in El Paso. I'm 3 hours away. Let's go. Or I'm 3 or 4 hours away. I don't remember. Let's go. On the way there, flat tire, ran out of gas, car stopped working. This was in the mid 90s.
How many hits did you need, man?
I know, right? And then when I got there, she had been rerouted to a different hospital in another city. And I was like, okay, I'm headed back. And on the way back, and also the car, my truck that I was driving, started stalling in traffic. And San Francisco traffic is insane. LA. I was in LA. LA traffic is insane. She had been sent to somewhere north of that. And I was like, I'm done. This is my turnaround point. This is my bingo fuel point, right? So I'm not going. I go on the way back. Truck is perfect. Tires are perfect. Car starts working. Everything is fluid. Yeah, I needed to be beaten over the head, and they beat me over the head with, you're not going on this trip. This is not going to happen. And that was that. I mean, I ended up having to buy a tire because it ripped a hole in my, whatever I ran over, ripped a hole the size that big in the tread of my tire. And the guy looked at it and says, this is a pretty bad one. We can't plug it. And I've never seen it happen quite like this before. I was not awake then, right? And I'm not woke now. I'm awake. That's that stupid mindset. I'm not that. I know what's what. And okay, let me see. Okay, I need to. So yeah, they're there. So if you get hints and pushes and nudges, that's them. That's them working with your quantum link, how I like to put it. And oh, James. Oh my gosh.
He got out of the funniest guy on the internet.
Yeah, he got off of here, so he didn't say anything, and here I am posting up his comments.
But no, James, no. Maybe off screen and stuff, maybe, but I've never seen it. I'm not buying it for a second.
No.
The heat out.
Oh, that was true.
Don't be lazy. Close the door.
Getting reprimanded by my.
Also, letting the
getting reprimanded by my
generally being irresponsible and lazy.
By my first son.
Put it in chat, bro. Put it in chat.
Don't. He's actually running to his tablet to put it in chat. Thanks, man. You have no idea what kind of a smart ass this little guy is.
Running to the tablet. Oh, right. I was looking at the that's why I'm at this angle. I was looking at the private chat. That was Frank telling me that he has to go. Okay.
That was hours ago, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I really got to thank you guys in chat, because I know every one of these guys from the gaming world, and every time I come here and do this, I'm amazed at the guys that are willing to, come take a break, sort of, just chill out and have, adult conversations that don't, revolve around, game rules and die mechanics and stuff like that, and just kick back and have weird ass conversations that if we try to on other days of the week, other channels and stuff like that, people would just be like, what the hell, you know what I mean? But then all the greats from those same channels are right here right now, except for Max. Max is a great guy, and the fact that he comes into the show is like a big deal for me, at least. But all you guys here, you know, thanks for coming, just about every week now, it seems, to hang out and, talk about stuff. And, you guys, if there's ever something you guys want to, talk about or something like that,
Put
I
it
don't
in
see
the
any reason
chat.
why. Yeah.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Yeah, I got gaming. Where are we at?
Just look at the last comment.
Okay.
Not that one. The big long one with all the names of game designers.
Oh, okay.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me. No, it's okay. I mean, it's weird too. Like with R. Keith, man. Even when I'm not on his show, he's he's doing his thing. His show that isn't really about games, but it actually kind of is. He's talking about his fantasy novels. I can't wait to get a couple of those and start reading those. But he's sitting there painting miniatures or, uh, talking about Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And a lot of the other people there doing the same thing. I would have never guessed, a year ago that we'd be doing this, and so many people are going back and forth between your show and my show doing this. It's really quite amazing when I think about it.
Well, you know what? Gaming touches on the quantum. It touches because it takes a lot of ability to be able to get these people in your head.
Mm-hmm.
All the rules and the dice rolling and the percentages and all that stuff. That is an agreed upon quantification of a reality in a collective.
Mm-hmm.
That's quantum.
Mm-hmm.
Straight quantum. I'm not talking about watching a movie, right? I'm talking about person to person. That is a group think going on. Been there, done that. And when you're into it, that is what exists.
Yeah, exactly.
In Doctor Who, they call it a bubble universe or micro universe. That's it. It is totally quantum. Totally. That is quantification of a reality that you are actively programming. And it's real. It's there. Who's here? Hello, Kubo. I think we have a half Klingon in the chat. Kubo. Oh, not half Klingon at all. Okay. Luis Fernando Amaya. Welcome to the Quantum Show. You're actually coming in at the end of it. We're going on 2.5 hours.
It doesn't even feel like that, man. It went by so fast.
I know. If it wasn't bathroom breaks, I would think we just started. But yeah, that gaming, I was a gamer. I don't do it actively anymore because it's not in me to do it right now. But that's a quantum. I put words to it back then. That is totally using your quantum link because that stuff is happening for you guys right then and right there. That's like CE5, right? Except it's real and it has actual consequences and actual actions that happen, not flares. You can have flares if you want flares. If you say, hey, James, bring flares to the game next week, and you'll have flares. CE5 has army flares, and they look at them across the way. And that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother discussion I want to get into is CE5, right? I want to go back over that. I know we talked about it before, but I want to go back over that And I've come to realize a few things, and that affects all of us. Is we're existing our quantum entangled selves. We're existing here in this system, in this reality, and we have to have things in this reality in order to not die and do well and maintain. I gotta have a job. I gotta do this. I gotta have a car. I gotta have a phone. Well, all that stuff has been quantified in a way with a money value. So we have to do that. So now I am not so hard on people who are using the paranormal to make money, because they might be making money using the paranormal. I'm making money not using the paranormal, but the common factor is we're both having to make money. I mean, it's just, we have to, unless we kill our own meat, raise our own crops, smelt our own metal, and I'm not doing all that, right?
Not yet, anyways.
Yeah, not yet. We have to
I like
exist.
plastic. I really like plastic, so I don't see me, drilling for oil in my backyard anytime soon to make my own plastic.
Oh, you won't have to.
Hey,
You
Tommy,
just go walk down the street. How many bottles and cups do you find? There's your plastic. We're the natural resource.
Hey, here's the question. It's a weird one.
Okay.
A lot of famous writers, fantasy writers, they say they didn't actually create their own work. They tapped into it.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that before?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Do you think that's what's going on with gaming too, but just with more people?
I think you're tapping into a creative work that you have discovered, like the systems, the rules, whatever. Mm-hmm. But you got that on the physical, a book, a sheet, a download. That's a physical, right? But you're creating and you're adding to by doing it. Or in some cases, you tap into it. Speaking of, right? Okay, well, I'll remember to tell you this thing that happened. It's very relevant. Okay, but yeah, you're tapping into it. You get it in the form of a book sheet download, and you use it by using your what I call the quantum link. You're applying it. You're all on the same sheet of music, so to speak, and you're all propagating that reality. And okay, the online reality that gamers propagate, it really affects you. Can't tell me it hasn't annoyed you, thrilled you, made your blood boil, made your blood pressure go up, made you thirsty. If your character walks into a tavern and everyone's drinking, I don't know about you, but I would get thirsty. I'd be like, time to get some beer. Because that's programming reality. And you make yourself thirsty. You want some. That comment, Nathan from the Quantum Show, is shadow. I got to push some buttons and stuff over here to make it come up shadow, not Nathan. So yeah, they are tapping into it, but they're not only getting, you're giving, you're putting into it. It's a two-way thing. Energy, it's a two-way thing. And if you say it's a two-way thing, it's a two-way thing. If you say it's a one-way thing, it's a one-way thing. That's quantum, because that's a programming of reality right there. So yes. Now, the thing I wanted to tell you, a little update. Remember when I described the guy talking to me, and I used the example sentence, "I have cheese in my pocket"?
No, I don't remember that. That's weird. I think I would.
I know, because it's a weird sentence that is very unlikely to happen, but not outside the realm of possibility. Okay, I thought it's in first hour of one of these, right? But
Okay.
I use the example. You know what? I'll just go over it again real quick. Okay, how I hear the spirit guide talk to me is not like words, but let me say something, and then I want you to remember what I say, and I want you to see where it lives in your head. I have cheese in my pocket. You clearly heard me say that, right?
Mhm.
Now, can you remember me saying it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in there. Right there where those words are, that's how they talk to me, right? That example sentence, I have cheese in my pocket, happened. Couldn't believe it when I heard it. I was like, son of a bitch. Okay, when that happened, that day, my mom cleans for a living, right? She cleans a bar for a living. That day, she had cleaned, and there was the manager was there, and somebody had thrown down a piece of cheese. She didn't have a trash can. She was in the middle of something, and she put it in her pocket, and she told the manager, something, something, I have cheese in my pocket, something, something. I was like, you are fucking joking. You are joking. You said those words. Yep. I didn't make it up. I tapped into the link. My whole family's like this. All of us got it. Everybody has demonstrated it over and over again that we've got this thing going on. My sister is obvious. She accepts it. My mom doesn't accept it. My brother doesn't accept it. I accept
that
it.
is so. That is so weird.
Yeah.
That it's got to be the title of a book or a comedy album. I'm not sure which.
I have cheese in my pocket. Volume 1. History of the cheese in my pocket. What?
I was thinking, of all the old, like, remember the old, like, Steve Martin albums and stuff like that, the comedians back in the day that would, put out, actual albums.
Yeah.
And it just that's where my mind went, was, like Let's Get Small and some of the other great albums of my youth, back when, we would actually, buy records of comedians' stand-up routines because there were no VCRs yet, and
Right.
comedian, all you needed was the audio to begin with. The being there, to watch them on stage would have been great, but it's just so. That's definitely one of those things you don't hear every day. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. But yeah, I had to update that right there. That I didn't make that sentence up. I pulled it off of my quantum link to my mom. And I was like, oh, you are joking. That day was a Saturday. And I came in it was the day she was up there and that happened. And I thought I was making up a sentence that is just unlikely enough to not be said too many times, but likely enough that it could happen. Well, it did happen that day. I was like, oh shit, guess what, Mom? Because she was telling me her story. She was telling me, like, complaining about work, people do. And she was telling me about, yeah, I found a piece of cheese at work. I'm like, oh? She goes, yeah. And she relayed the conversation, and it was like, I have cheese in my pocket. I'm like, what did you say? She was like, what? I'm like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. And it was that day. She says, well, she likes how I do a YouTube show. She thinks it's dorky. But okay, it's dorky.
You know what, though? It's a great thing. Clearly it was meant to be a thing. You know what I mean? You were doing it even before I met you.
Yeah, I was doing something now I've got to like refine it with your help. And you know what? Okay, everyone in the chat, Shadow pushed me and encouraged me to do this, right? He did. He was the only one. Everybody around me didn't see a potential for this to happen. And here we are. Shadow did it. Shadow pushed me into doing it. He encouraged me.
Dude,
Every
it was
time.
meant to be.
Yeah, every
You know-
time it was. Every time you would say, "Man," you would watch one of my toy videos, and I don't know, you heard something that I didn't know I was putting out, and you pushed me, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I decided to not be fearful a long time ago, and if I fail, I don't care. I fail.
Yeah, you can go back to that episode that you joined us. That was it. It's like, this is his thing, man. He should be doing this. I mean, I could easily do this, you know, on my channel, but that's one of the skills I've learned along the way or whatever, is recognizing greatness out there, and this is what you should be doing, man. Yeah, I wish you could do it more often. I look forward to the day where this is all you have to do, to pay the bills and get some
thought
kickback.
about it. I've thought about
I'm
it.
telling you, man, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. Just like freaking James L, man. He's literally the funniest guy I've ever met in my whole life, and that's saying something, because I'm possibly the oldest guy here, except when Joe's around. And I've met a lot of funny guys, but James, if you did stand up, I realize you can't probably do that right now, but I'm telling you, man, we're surrounded by greatness right now. Whether the whole world sees it or not, maybe not right now, but you watch. You can come back to this timestamp moment, and you'll be like, man, that old geezer was right. I'm not that old. Now I gotta ask. I don't even know how to even pretend to pronounce that handle you got there. Cuvo, AIEOU. Oh God, I guess when you say it out loud,
sounds half Klingon.
No, it's
Half something
AEIOU.
else.
AEIOU. Or some variation. Maybe I'm butchering that too, but I have the itis.
Okay.
Nathan put the timestamp on it. Classic. Reading signals in the Matrix, gaming simulation. I almost opened a portal in the sky. The universe energy directly connects.
Yes, I see those.
Could you elaborate, please?
He was commenting while I was talking about, or while we were talking about getting things from, we were drawing off of something, and I was saying we're putting it in with gaming.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating reality. It's quantum. It's totally quantum. And I didn't realize that, and I didn't have a word for it. And it might not be the right word, but I got no other word for it. Other people call it other things, I guess. Greer calls it CE5, but that's for rich people. And suckers. That's for the muggles. Stephen Greer is for the muggles. There. Quote me.
Wow, man. Wow,
Stephen
man.
Greer is totally
That's
for the muggles.
Statement. Oh, well, you know what? I'll give him this. He's for like the a little bit higher level, not just the average muggles, because the average muggles doesn't know who the heck you're talking about. But man, that guy's right up there with the other guy we were talking about with the soul patch from the CIA.
Oh, Lou Elizondo?
Thank you. Those two are like opposite sides of the same corrupt little coin, man.
Well, Greer, I'm still thinking about Greer, right? Lou, forget it. He's a show pony for the government, total operation manager, and no.
Yep.
But Greer believes in a lot of the stuff
He's got to be a lizard person. I'm telling you, man, he's got to be.
Maybe.
I get such creeped out when I watch that guy. He's just like, that skin suit is just like one size too small.
Other people have said the same thing.
I hate to, like, pick on the physicality of the man or the lizard person, but he just comes across as not to be trusted. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about Greer because he's got something, but he is for the Muggles for sure. He's not for here. That's why so many people have a problem with him in the paranormal fields, because he rubs a lot of people that same way. And the fact that there's an issue with that tells me it should be looked at further. And I'm like, But the fact that people want to make money in the paranormal, we all got to make money. And if somebody like, who is that person? Christina Gomez, right? She is an up-and-comer, right? She is an up-and-comer in the paranormal. She's a very pretty face to do this stuff, and she brings in a lot of people. And I don't think herself is too paranormally inclined, but not like me and, well, you, even though you don't call it that.
Well, no, that's not true. I just don't know what to call it, because I've seen and done things that just are beyond, a random 1 in a trillion type of thing. I've seen and done things that are just
okay.
There's something going on. I don't know what.
Right.
I go through game books looking for what mutation I have or what psychic power it is, but I've yet to be able to label it. But or at least all of it. There's some things I know. This is that and this is that. When you like precognition and stuff like that. That's clearly vastly different from telekinesis or something like that. Which good thing I can't move things, because my brain would be this big and I would never move it yet, because I would just move things with my mind. Especially with bags of chips. Is she like? Do you get the impression that she's like being like spoon fed or reading off a teleprompter? She's just the face of somebody else, or she's just like working the system.
She's kind of like working the system, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because she has a huge audience. She has a bunch of followers, lots of super chats. She's on YouTube, right? On socials. She's not on mainstream. And she's trying to get on mainstream, but that I gather it's in the works, but I don't know much about it. I don't think she herself is a paranormally inclined person, but she talks about it. She has the interest. She's really interested in it, and she makes money at it. Okay.
So maybe like a female version of Art Bell type of thing?
No.
Or
no, not that talented.
well, I mean, you got to start somewhere. Let's give her benefit of the doubt for a moment. Okay. Later on, if you send me a link to her or spell her name out, I'll go look and do a face reading of her and see what.
I will find her and I will leave her after the show
in Messenger, so I actually see it.
Okay, I'll do that.
And I'll do my thing and see what kind of
she's
she's up to.
Nice. She just is not. she's not paranormally inclined. I don't know if she has any like ability, you know. But what? Oh, here we go. Oh, it's what did I say? Christina Gomez. Yeah. Yeah, it's Christina Gomez. I'm just grabbing a link to her channel. I'm not posting a video or anything. She got into it from somewhere else, and she does okay. Okay, this show I'm going to bring up. I'm going to throw some numbers out there, talking about her. I've watched her a couple times. She interviews people that are paranormally inclined, and okay. This is her introduction video, if it will load. And
because she could be authentically very curious and interested, and trying to go somewhere like us, trying to find answers and things like that. Or she could just be I mean, because nobody works the system without having some interest in the subject matter, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You can't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, unless you're just a complete charlatan and you absolutely have your mind made up and you're gonna be the snake oil salesman, knowing full well that your snake oil is just snake oil, as opposed to
This is interesting. I did a search for Christina Gomez YouTube, and her introduction comes up. By the way, her introduction from 1 year ago. She, according to the public stats, she has 21,000 subscribers. Her first video has 7,300 plus views. There are 43 comments. I'm not looking at the comments. And she has 150 thumbs ups. I don't see the thumbs downs. They hit those. And the interesting part are the recommended videos, the related videos by, let's see, Theories of Everything with Kurt Jamungle, V Movies, The Great Order, Agenda Exposed, Australia, Mysteries with a History, R. Keith Andrews, The Haunted Side, I know, David Adair, Chris Lato, Spark TV show, YouTube show, Ancient History Document, Odyssey, The Drowned Ancient Civilization Beneath the Black ... Alien Girl 111, shout out. And the list goes on and on, but then you got and History Channel. Then it gets all muggly. It gets all muggly. And here's Slapped Ham. Okay.
What? No Y-Files?
No Y-Files. I didn't see any Y-Files. I got UAMN TV. That's David Adair. And no Y-Files. I think they're shadow banned, dude. And Goofon's on here. Carl the Crusher. I think he knows I exist.
Well, you never know. Maybe she's on. Maybe she's one of the good guys.
She might be. I just when someone starts from money and starts from the money side of things, I tend to think that they're up to something, and they're all about the money.
Sure. Right.
That's just what I think. It's like getting a job.
No. You're not wrong to think like that. Especially, it would be one thing if it was, carpentry or something like that. You know what I mean? Or crafting.
Yeah, or FAA paperwork.
Right. You could understand that, but this is such an esoteric, genre of things to discuss on the internet, that there has to be some connection to the subject and the speaker for it to be a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
You don't hear me talking about things that I have literally no interest in. I just don't do it. It's right. That's work. You know what I mean? And I stopped doing that 20 years ago. So, maybe she just, is using her assets, so to speak, to explore her interests.
Yeah.
And
I hope so. I mean, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I need to watch more. She stays on the Muggle side of stuff from her point of view. And in my opinion, what I have seen, she doesn't really ask what they're called hardball questions. And that's like, let's dig a little bit. We dig deep here. We go everywhere here.
Well, how old do you think she is?
Mid-20s.
Okay, see,
yeah, she's not ready to dig deep.
Well, and quite literally, she may not have had the time to do so. But that's interesting because I suspected that's why I asked that she was really, really young. That could be a great thing. If more people do stuff like that, then there's more people to sort of push the subject out there, and not necessarily into the mainstream, but to the right people will hear about it because they're interested. When I'm done with talking to you tonight, I'll go to my YouTube feed and I'll see a whole bunch of new videos sparked by this video. And what I mean?
Recommended, yeah.
So the algorithm and the programming out there knows what it's doing and knows what we both like, and we'll see new videos that I'll see at least half a dozen videos. It's like, oh, I've never seen that video. Maybe I'll want to watch it. Maybe I won't. But it just spreads that net out there wider, and eventually starts pulling in fish from different parts of the ocean. That ocean being the internet, and maybe it's part of the quantum plan.
I'm convinced that all of our systems that we've come up with for things like that are based on the experiences of the quantum. They have a feeling to do it this way. They have a feeling to do it that way. It's not strictly based on numbers. The idea wouldn't have come to them if it wasn't for the quantum. And that's something that brings me back to the big disconnect. They're not considering that we have an insight, our gut feelings, our instincts, that is helping to guide us into doing the right thing at the right time.
That's interesting you mentioned that, because that may be one of the big advantages we as a species have. We were talking about this week in the gaming world how the word race and racism and stuff has become like this big hot button topic where that racism in the gaming world where certain woke people thought that orcs were meant to represent black people and stupid crap like that. And most of the people I know, we talk about how, diversity and things like that are one of our strong suits, but maybe it's actually our intuition that's one of the things that the grays or the lizard people, are so interested in, in us, that maybe our intuition is one of the big leaps that as a thinking species we have that, is a mystery to them, or an ability of innate ability of ours that's sought after. That's why they pick us up and do whatever it is they do. Supposedly, maybe our intuition is like that big X factor that they can't quite understand, or that terrifies them, or that they wish they had for themselves, or something like that.
Right. I remember a story. You remember Sylvia Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, not going into Sylvia Brown, this was a story that was given to her. She said that this person called Sylvia said that she was taken on board a ship. She was abducted, and she followed Sylvia's advice in using white light and gold light, or white light, using white light. And here's what she described. She described seeing a little gray alien adjusting some sort of controls that she couldn't comprehend. So she, the person, manifested her white light. And all of a sudden, the controls were unpredictable. The guy acted like, what's going on? What's going on here? And then he did something else, and she came out of it. Or she was in darkness again, or something. I don't remember the exact story. So, yeah. Exactly. They want us. They want it. And that is what our edge is. You're exactly right. Our intuition and our quantum link is what they want. R. Keith Andrews says it. That's what's special about us in particular. The off-worlders don't want us to blow ourselves up because we'll take the planet with us. And they want the planet, and they kind of want us too. Then you have the spiritual side. That's the off-worlder side. Then I'm coming to really understand a lot of these things now. It's not as crazy as I would have said last year. 5 years ago, this would have all been nuts to me. I would love to. Oh, and something I've been doing is there's a theory and a practice. What you can do is you can give yourself hints and energy and kind of communicate with yourself in the future. And we can't deal with anything in the past, but we can remember the past. And that's kind of like living it again, right?
Kind of like
right. In the future, we know, and there's a little motivational saying that says, you can affect the future now. And that's what I try to do. That's what I'm trying to do, is affect the future now. And on a spirit level, quantum level, you send yourself energy because you're going to exist. So you can send yourself energy and somehow send yourself messages. And I've been trying to do that here and there because it's a new idea to me, but I'm doing it more and more. And I tend to like mental exercises like that. What I like to do is make it a habit and do it unthinking. Like, you tie your shoes a certain way, you know how to do it. You've done it so many times, you do that. And you just go through the motions that you've set yourself. It's, mental training and whatever. Well, I have been trying to train myself to give myself messages and tips and hints and Easter eggs in the future because I know I'm going to exist in the future. What's going on in the chat? That grin. What's going on?
Bo.
Oh, okay. Good one, Bo. Yeah, I like that. Actually, you know what? There we go. I'm going to post that one up.
Today is a gift, Bo.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't me. That just popped into my head. So it's a gift.
There's somebody wrote a poem about today being a gift. It was a good poem. It was just super muggly. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good feeling. Next topic. It scared all of us, Bo. I was scared too.
There was nothing we could do about it then. There's nothing we can do about it today. And unless you work with one of those two keys in your hands, all day long, or have access to the football, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it tomorrow either. Yeah. I have some other thoughts on the subject I'll tell you later, but it was just more fear porn and of a different variety. Yeah. I mean, you really, in order to think that's a thing to worry about, you have to think that there's a handful of psychos that are ready to just end it all, and that's it. That's their only goal, is to end it all, because that's all that would come from that, and that thought of ending it all is what kept us all from ending it all. Nobody wanted to do that. They wanted to do other stuff by launching, those kinds of weapons of mass destruction. But they knew that once you start, it just creates a chain reaction that won't end and nobody wins.
Yeah, there's no winner to that stuff. Okay, I feel like I'm dialing down. It's been 3 hours almost, and that's cool. But I wanted to, like earlier in the show, I said I put together something to give me I'm going to grab it. I only kept it in the box. It's put together. One of these things. Okay.
Okay.
It's one of them STEM kits for kids. It's like a Google.
That's cool looking.
What's that?
It looks pretty cool from here.
It is pretty cool. I like this. I don't like the scale. This is Lego figure scale, but let me break it. I put it together already. I just put it back in the box because it's convenient. And this is what it is. And to make it fit in the box put together, I had to take a couple of the wings off. And this is what it turns into, right? With wings. Hold on,
man.
I'll reattach. It's pretty cool.
That's just begging to be on a game table.
Yeah, it is. This is a perfect miniature size too. It's Lego fig size, and it has a couple of silly action features that didn't really work too well in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. They're just kind of silly, but it's kind of fun. It was fun putting it together, and it kept my hands busy for 15 minutes. This is what it looks like, right? And you have a couple of, like, it lands, and it has this little foot that it sits on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the cockpit opens up like that. You have a little seat for the dude. The dude's down there. And you have this, that's not a rocket, right? This is a toy. That's what a toy does. And
that's
then
not how aerodynamics work at all.
Right. And the wings pop open like this. And they have neat little hinge thing you put together. And when it's landed, you put the wings, and it sits there. But yeah, it is perfect for gaming size. It's Lego figure size, right? Oops. This is a Vex robotics kit. And it's a space shuttle lander, but I don't know who would run this, Earth, I guess. And it's pretty cool. It's got like a place for a wing that you can get upgrade kits. There's a big kit. This is the little kit. There's a big kit, a whole space station thing, right? And they sell, the individual ones. And it is, let me get the guy. So that's something I put together just to keep my hands busy. The little guy I'd say he's a little above scale for Lego figures and very generic. These things
Have you ever seen Snap Chips?
Seen what?
Snap Chip.
Oh, Snap Chips. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of Snap Chips.
Oh,
I've got some. This guy, he's like 1.5 inch. And let's see, is he 1.5 inch? I have a ruler.
Bo says they're 40 millimeter if they're Legos.
Okay.
Or Legos are 40 millimeter.
Lego is 40 millimeters. These are 45. I can't see what I'm doing. These are, trust me, it says 45. Okay. It's 45 mil. So Lego guys would do well in this thing. But I did that today, and I'm about to do a comparison. I've got a couple of attack helicopters for the 4-inch scale, I did the big carrier helicopters before on the toy side of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. And I got the Walmart attack helicopter, and I also got it's another off-brand like Elite Force or Hero Action Force or something. It's very generic, but it is an attack helicopter, much like the G.I. Joe Dragonfly. And I want to do a side-by-side comparison of the two because I like doing that stuff. I like doing the side-by-sides. Have you done what? Let's see. What Bo is talking. Okay. 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 Yes. Oh yeah. Greeblies for sure.
Yeah, if not, if you said there's other kits out there, that's what I'd be looking at is taking some stuff from multiple kits, and working on it. But yeah, I could easily see that on a game table. Bo, check out Snapships because my son and we did like 2 videos on them, and there's actually now a game where you can use your Snapships to play like a tactical sort of space combat game, I guess. But
did you see the Snapships Walker that somebody came up with? I was like,
I
oh,
thought some of the
hell
little
yeah.
ones. I think we have one. I'm not sure.
Well,
though.
this is an unpublished. This is a
okay.
fan made.
Oh,
I think
okay.
actually it made it because the whole thing is fan made. They started out as an indie company and they got picked up, and I really liked them. And
Yeah.
my mind hasn't taken me back to using Snapships yet, though I've got some over here. I just haven't done anything with them yet because it just hasn't come to me to do it yet. And I do like to muse. I go where the feeling takes me. I don't try to force it because if I force it, it looks stupid.
Mm-hmm.
If I force it, it comes out half-assed. So this felt okay for the moment, this Vex stuff, because the other day I was in in the thrift store where I got everything, and I saw they've got the big plastic bags of multiple things, right? And I saw lots of white plastic, and I was like, "What is that?" It's a space shuttle, and it was a space. It's big, right? It's freaking big. It's a launch pad kit. Yeah, I need to show it and put it all together and show it. And it was missing the tail rudder, and I got it on eBay. There was a guy. It's a Matchbox MBX. I can get the name for it. And it's a space shuttle. I can get the name if nothing else. And it's really big. It's in scale for the 40 to 45 mil. However, it's a kit that you put together. And while most of it was put together, that's okay. I mean, it comes right apart, right? I can take it apart. It's a mega. It comes with a rocket and a space shuttle, and you can put it together, and you can take the different parts and pieces and mix them up, and that's the fun part. But it's got this. I can't share the picture. It's got a black cockpit section, and they all click together like in stages. The cockpit is large enough to accommodate a 4-inch action figure, but the seat, it's all one piece except for the canopy, so it won't fit the figure. Well, I have a 3D printer, so I know how to measure. I can make my own cockpit, just like that Launchpad Supermax rocket that I got. It has a detachable cockpit too. I don't want to mess with the wiring, but I will make them switch between the two. And I will.
So that was actually pretty cool too.
It's a fun toy. The problem with it is it's underpowered and it doesn't have any tread on the wheels, and you get 6 wheels, and it ends up skidding, and it just sits there. It's supposed to travel about 10 feet.
Right.
So I got to put a rubber band on the wheels to make
Right,
it
I
have
was-
traction and push the thing, and it'll go, right? So Final Faction or going back to space in a bunch of ways.
Hey man, that's I was just thinking about that earlier. That's literally how I met you.
Yeah,
You know,
that's how this started. You saw my Final Faction video,
Yep.
and I was just covering a pickup or something. I don't even remember, but yeah. And the space shuttle is big, so I want to make my own parts for it. And I keep saying these things, and sometimes I will go on a mental something and make a bunch of stuff, right? And that's how I ended up with the little walker, the legs. I did the legs, and I've got a TIE fighter sitting over here, and I've got a Z95 headhunter, and all this stuff, right? All the stuff that I've made. I'm really proud of it, and people ask me for stuff. I got one of them Disney droids from the parks, and it's one of those, remote control. It's a nice one. It's the $100 one. I totally splurged, but I made a battery cover for it. And that's kind of like playing to my strengths, because when I was doing Nerf parts, I did battery covers because those get lost really easy. Well, if you have a battery cover, you can do cool stuff with it. And so I did. Everything that I had that didn't have a battery cover, I broke out the multimeter, or not the multimeter, and the multimeter. I broke out the caliper, and I measured, and I made my own battery covers. Well, I did the same thing for that droid, right? And a friend of mine, I did that 3 years ago. It just came up, and a friend of mine saw it. He's a builder too. He was making the chips, and he does toys, and he just got a 3D printer. And he's like, "Hey Nathan, is there any way I could get the design?" Up to now, I keep my stuff under lock and key, because if you publicly release it with the copyright, please don't steal it. They're gonna steal it, right? So anything I release, I haven't released it to the public. I did give it to him, and he made one, and he's building a Ghostbuster droid. And I'm like, that is going to be so freaking sweet.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh my God, this file is so perfect." I'm like, "Yeah, I busted my ass on it. It took me like 4 days to design it." And I came up with like 3 different versions, each one better than the next. Easier to deal with, less surface, less support material, and more ability. And the last version has little pouches in it to put memory chips. And
That's pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty cool too. And he was, what is going on? Oh, okay, I was on the wrong window. Bo, yes, 3D printing is definitely, I'm looking at the chat now. And yeah, 3D printing is the bomb. I have had the only fun that was more than 3D designing and 3D printing was my game store in Texas. And that was fun. And I had more fun there than ever. This is more fun than that. I love it. And
wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, miniatures, if you want miniatures, you're going to need to go resin, because the filament printers don't get that good, right?
Yep.
And
so terrain you can do with the filament, but
yeah,
the minis not so much. I
have hard enough with 4-inch action figures. I have a hard enough time with those, and I can't see unless you have a $25,000 machine that uses filament. Get one of them Elegoo Saturns or whatever. I don't know. I don't do resin. Resin is too hazmat for me. I'm not going to deal with it.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people. I can't do it right now. I actually have a snapmaker, but it's got such a small bed that like I don't want to have to be making
16
multi-modular
parts to make one rifle.
Yeah.
I did that. That took me 16. It took me like I don't know how long. I forget how long it took, but it was 16 parts to make one life-size Halo rifle, and the thing made me look like a hobbit because it's for a 7-foot tall guy. You look at it on a Master Chief, you're forgetting the scale. He's 7 feet tall. You look at it on one of us, we look like hobbits in a life-size rifle. But go for it, Bo. Get you one, and yeah, 30. That's something I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna make a pod to click onto the rocket, the Supermax rocket, and then this MBX rocket. And I got this kit thinking that there would be, because Matchbox don't make those no more, right? The click together kits, and I've seen that connector in a lot of places. So I'm thinking they went and started a different little thing, and I thought it was going to be Vex, but it's not Vex. I've seen that connector in a bunch of places, and I've got a few of those pieces sitting around. And who does this? They're their Hexbug. They're their own company.
Yeah.
I don't see like Mattel or Hasbro or anything. They're their own company. And yeah. Well, dude, this is all I got for the show online. So it's been over 3 hours. I need more I want more coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the show, the public show. We'll go backstage. I want to get coffee. And y'all, okay.
Bo, we will talk. I'm going to send you something before I go to bed tonight. I don't know how late you're going to be up, but I just want to send you a little something on Discord. It was great talking to every single one of you guys tonight. Make sure you guys.
Oops.
Yeah. Make sure you guys all come back next week. This is, literally one of the highest points of my week. And I have all you guys to thank for it. So have a great week. Enjoy everything you can. Stay positive, and we'll see you guys real soon.
Okay, and at the end of the show, I have been advised, hit like and subscribe. Tell your friends. First one's free. And this is something I have also been advised to say. If you want, this sounds so freaking, you'll see why. If you would like to contribute to the show, links to my PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee are in the description below. I'm not pushing that, but I understand we think in money. It is the system we live in very well. And I would not turn it down, but I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying it's there. And also after the show, all links, things discussed. Yeah. All links and things discussed that I can remember will be in the show description probably tomorrow. So come back, and there will be references down below the video. So again, thank you all for coming. Have a great week. If I have anything come up, I will make a short or something. So remember to keep it quantum, and y'all have a good one out here.
Bye, everybody.